Hello, everyone, and welcome to Post Perez, the last Post Perez of 2022. And originally supposed to do one last Post Perez with John Pollock, but he is a very very busy person, and he said, "WH, can you call in the pinch hitter at Post Wrestling? Pinch hitter Karen Peterson has joined us today to talk about the year in wrestling in Japan in broad strokes. Um, and we'll talk about like my own feelings about this. But Karen, thank you so much for coming in at the not the last minute necessarily, but kind of at the last minute to help me put on a show for this month for the end of the year.
Well, it's like I always say, if you guys need me, you know where to find me. And ProRes, that portion of the wrestling scheme that we cover, that's my wheelhouse. So anytime you guys need me to pinch hit or hop on, you know where to find me.
There you go. Down in Florida, where I'm sure you're not going to be hit by a raging snowstorm like we are
No,
here in,
sir.
Tor- in Toronto in the
I'm wearing
next
short sleeves right now.
yeah. I'm wearing my flannel,
The windows are open in my house right now. It's
Wow.
lovely.
Yeah, I don't think I could handle like summer all year, to be honest with you.
Yeah, yeah. I
I
mean,
like seasons. I like seasons,
so do I. And
So
so you'll hear me complain about Florida probably from May until about September,
mhm.
just because the humidity is bleh,
It's like
awful.
Japan. Yeah. It's like me.
It's very much like Japan in the summertime.
It was like me in Numazu when I was over there.
Namadu!
So, yeah, hey, WH, you go to G1 Climax Finals and Sumo Hall? Never again.
God,
Never
sounds like
again.
an oven. I'm not sure if I'm down with that.
No. Budokan, perfect. Sumo Hall? No, not so much.
It's got
And
the good air conditioning, right?
Budokan Hall has. Did you get to go? I forget.
I've never been. I've never been to Budokan. I've never been to Ryogoku.
Yeah, Ryogoku. We'll talk about Ryogoku too because we're gonna preview some shows as well for the new year, end of the year, new year that are happening with the major companies in Japan. But yeah, overall, let's get straight into it, Karen.
Okay.
Overall, how did you feel about 2022 in ProRes? What were your overall thoughts about the scene in general?
I think with the slow return of clapping and cheering from different promotions throughout the year, it started to feel like, the whole nature's healing. We're going back to how things were. And it started making me excited about it. The problem is that we're having this conversation in December just after finishing 3 tag leagues. So I have massive burnout right
Mhm.
now. And I'm basically in that hibernation mode right now, just trying to get ready for the New Year's portion of the of our upcoming Wrestle Kingdom week. But yeah, no, it's been great to see companies working together. It's been great to see talent exchanges, companies sending talent abroad again, and not just New Japan coming back to the States, but like, Noah sending people over, Stardom sending people over, Tokyo Joshi Pro sending people over. So it kind of, and then of course, talent coming back, foreign talent coming back into Japan.
Right.
So some things, everything's starting to feel fresh again and exciting.
Yeah, I would say, like, for me, like, the post Christmas show will have been released before this show's released. So if you listen to that first, you probably know my feelings about wrestling in general. I will say, like, for those who haven't, I'll just say, like, my interest as a fan is probably at one of its lowest ebbs in the history of my fandom of for wrestling. I think part of that is clap crowds. Part of that is I think just booking in general in wrestling, booking trends in general, not just in Japan but also in North American wrestling. I don't feel there's a lot of consistency in booking in wrestling in general, but in Japan, and we're going to talk about 4 companies in particular, where the big boundary for me, the big hurdle for me to try to kind of jump over to reignite my enjoyment of Japanese professional wrestling is booking. I really feel it's incredibly inconsistent. I really feel a lot of it is trying to create a product that I personally don't want to see. I like with elements of North American wrestling kind of like entertainment, sports entertainment coming in that I really am not a fan of in my wrestling overall, but especially in Japan. You can have elements of it and like flavorings of it, but when your soup stock, when is that I don't really want to taste it, to be honest with you,
Yeah.
So, but we'll talk about, um, like 4 different companies that generally overall, like I would be normally interested in. I'd say about maybe a year ago or a year and a half ago, I was probably interested in all these companies. I still am in one of them because one of them we're going to be talking about is Stardom, and fortunately, like I still get enjoyment out of Stardom. Like one thing I will criticize about Stardom, and I just get this out of the way, is I do feel like they're kind of overloading their the product for the consumer, in the sense of like it's a little hard to keep up with a lot of things with them, and I would prefer if things were scaled back a little bit, because not only for time but also financially it's very hard to keep up with like a lot of their big events, because they're on a separate pay-per-view system, versus if you subscribe to Stardom World, which like, and also like I feel New Japan is doing this with New Japan World, and then creating like separate paid events that you have to purchase. You want to watch it live, as opposed to the convenience. And I get it's a business; they have to try to maximize as much money as possible. But I do feel that's kind of not just for me, but in general, like a kind of a detriment to like getting fans to return. Not so much getting new fans, but getting fans to return back to the product. But we'll go through these things as we go through each company. But we'll just start off, right, Karen? I sent you some notes. Kind of this is how
Some
we're going to
very
structure
extensive notes.
we're going to go through like these 4 companies. The first one will be one of my favorites generally overall, is All Japan Pro Wrestling. And one thing I want to do with each company is basically look at the kind of who's being pushed. And with that, I want to talk about titles, because that's, for any company, the way you kind of like determine like who's getting a push is who holds titles. And with some particular wrestlers, I want to talk about in particular 2 wrestlers in All Japan Pro Wrestling, and that's Shotaro Ashino is one of them. The other is Jake Lee. And Shotaro Ashino currently is injured, and hopefully will make a return soon in 2023. Jake Lee is not injured, but he will be leaving the company
Yep.
in early 2023. He is not said where he will be going. He has not talked about why he is leaving necessarily. I think he's kind of hinted at it in interviews when he made his announcement about leaving All Japan Pro Wrestling. But let's talk about that really quickly though, as to kind of like our guesses. Like Karen, where do you think Jake Lee is going to show up after he leaves All Japan Pro Wrestling?
Well, by the time this airs, I believe he will already wrestled his last match in All Japan. I think it was earlier this week when that happened. And of course, going back to the springtime when there was the Korakuen 60th anniversary show, he got to be in the ring with Tanahashi and Taichi and all that. So everyone was like hoping for that G1 run, myself included. But it seems like, of course, New Japan could be the most likely falling point should he stay in Japan. But it seems like on social media and some interviews I've seen, he's also hinted that he wants to either try his hand at kickboxing or Brazilian jiu-jitsu. Like he's training in jiu-jitsu, but it feels like he wants to try a whole bunch of different things before settling down anywhere. But again, nothing's set in stone. Nothing's been announced. So basically we got to wait till the contract officially terminates, and then we'll see where he crops up next.
I mean, there's a point where he was kind of on sabbatical from wrestling, and he says, "I want to, go into, like real martial arts, whether it was
Yeah.
kickboxing or jujitsu before." And he came back to professional wrestling. I think he's probably going to stay in professional wrestling. That's my guess. And my guess is like he's going to go to New Japan Pro Wrestling, because they would probably be. I really feel like, because of like guys like Tanahashi saying, "Oh, I would love to have this guy
Yeah.
in our company," and I think Tanahashi has a lot of sway in New
Yeah.
Japan, that he says this, and then like decision makers in the company are like, "Okay, yeah, what do you if you see something in this guy, let's possibly bring him in," and they have the money to bring him in.
Yeah, and especially, Tanahashi knows that, his career is winding down, or at least his knees are. Naito's in the same boat. And it's one of those things where Jake Lee, if I'm not mistaken, he's either 33 or 34. So he still has, hopefully, many good years ahead of him. And it's one of those things where, yeah, the selfish part of me is like, yeah, let him go to New Japan just so I can have all my faves in one place. But at the same time, it was like up until Suzuki-gun announced that they were disbanding at the end of today. I thought he was going to be a lock to be in Suzuki-gun with everyone. So unless Suzuki-gun turns into Taichi-gun, now in the new year, I don't know what's happening. I would have thought that if he were to stay in a heel role, that's where he'd go. I don't necessarily know if he would fit in like Chaos or the United Empire. United Empire already has too many people, so they need to do something about that. But I don't know if him going right into Hantai until he figures out where he wants to go is the best move, or if they're gonna just put him wherever they fit him into a different stable.
Well, maybe a new one. Maybe they're going to create a new one.
Another new one.
Another new one. Yeah. I
They
mean, I'll say this.
They got to get rid of some more before they start creating some more.
Well, I mean, I'm not one of these people who's sad about Suzuki-gun ending. I think it's like every faction almost, I'd say with the exception of, to some degree, LIJ and United Empire. I think, because United Empire is still pretty new. I think they're getting their groove. I do think there's too many people in it. It's kind of ridiculous, like how many people are in this group. But with Chaos, that should have ended 5 years ago at the least. Bullet Club should have ended after like, I don't know, 3 years of its existence was enough for me, and all the offshoots, House of Torture, all that shit, I could have done without that. I think Bullet Club is such a crutch for people for uncreative bookers. Let's make him a heel. Oh, let's put him in the Bullet Club. Oh, it's a new format wrestler we want to hire. Oh, they're gonna be heel. Let's put him in the Bullet Club. It's lazy.
Yeah,
it's lazy booking. It's like NWO in WCW.
Yeah, my thing is that like I want them just to do like a kind of like when Stardom used to have the annual Stardom draft. I want them to do a New Japan draft. I want new factions. I want new names. I want new groupings. I want things to feel fresh. I want old partners to become rivals all of a sudden. Like I want something. I want someone to take the table and go whoop and just flip everything on its side and just.
I would love that too, honestly. Like
I don't know if I doubt it will ever happen.
I don't think you could do like the Stardom draft, like that format necessarily in New Japan, but like something akin to that where you have a reformation of like different people like teaming up and being together for the first time would be really, really cool. And it can really revitalize characters, but we'll see what happens. But back to All Japan, I want to talk about Jake. So Jake should and Shitara Shino both should have been the guys in 2022 who should have got the rocket strapped to them.
I feel like that was the conversation we had last year, that this was going to be their year.
No, and it wasn't. With Jake, it's really interesting. So if we look at the Triple Crown title holders of 2022, so the first person to hold the title is, of course, perennial Triple Crown champion Kento Miyahara. He held it for 147 days. He defeated up and coming rookie, like their super rookie Ryuki Honda in a tournament final. He had four defenses of that title, and he lost to Jake Lee. And this should have been Jake's crowning moment. This should have been a title reign that he should have held that title for at least, I think, 4 to 6 months. I think he should have really established himself as a guy on level with Kento. But no, he held it for 25 days and he lost it to Suwama, of all people, in his first defense.
I didn't understand why that happened.
What the fuck?
I'm still shattered by that. I was like, but he just did the thing. He just finally got it all together.
Because he beat his rival, Kento. Yeah. Like they like if you draw the analogy of like Kento is a modern day Misawa.
Yeah.
And Jake was supposed to be the modern his Kawada, basically. His Toshiaki Kawada. But it wasn't to be because they decided to take the belt off of him and put it on Suwama. And I am a perennial Suwama fan. Not right now, because like this current character, Voodoo Murder's version of Suwama, is shit. And just terrible booking with this guy. He got choked out by Kyo Iwata, who's like in his 60s. It's so dumb. He got choked out.
That makes me sad.
But so Suwama beats Jake in his first defense. And then he, just so he could lose it to Kento, the All Japan anniversary show at Budokan. This is like such short-sighted booking. Okay, so Jake loses it to Suwama, so Suwama could lose it to Kento on the 50th anniversary. Why not make it Jake loses to Kento or Jake beats Kento? Like Kento Miyahara does not need the Triple Crown.
Yeah.
I understand he's our guy. He's been our guy for the last 10 years. I understand that we wanted to have that moment for him on the 50th anniversary. Okay, but you didn't need to be Jake for it. I understand. Oh, but there's going to be people say, well, Suwama was the guy in the early 2000s, like in the Muto era. Like he was the ace of the Muto era of All Japan. And it's like, it doesn't matter, but because he doesn't need it either. It
Yeah.
should have been Jake. So Jake and Ashino should be the guys that you are making this year.
Correct.
And then on the cusp should be Yuma Aoyagi
Correct.
and Ryuki Honda. These are the guys. Okay, these are our next guys, and we're gonna bring them up in 2023. And then you have a nice crop of 4 to 5 guys that you can pass the Triple Crown round to, and or have one of them have a long reign and just and with the then this year one of the positive things this year has been like the involvement of one of my favorite wrestlers from Big Japan Pro Wrestling, and that's Takuya Nomura. And he seems like he's having a really good time splitting his time between Big Japan and with All Japan. And we're going to talk about an upcoming event that he's going to main event to the big January first week of January shows All Japan has every year, which are kind of like their really big events at Korakuen Hall. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. But then you have the returning Naoya Nomura, who seems like he was doing indie stuff, and now he's kind of been back almost full time with All Japan, and I'm so happy about that because he was one of my favorites before he left, due to injuries, he said, and then he's come back. So he looks great. So it looks like he's getting more in that mix with former partner Yuma Aoyagi, and getting there, becoming a rival to Kento Miyahara again. Like, and these are the guys like, okay, Takuya Nomura and Naoya Nomura, no relation, by the way. They should be guys like, okay, we can get like Takuya Nomura, we can get dates on this dude along with like his Big Japan commitments. That's great. Like, we can always use this guy. He can't be on every show, but if he's on our big shows, awesome. He's someone you should push, and Naoya Nomura should be someone you push. And then you have a nice crop of main event guys that the fans will take to. The fans will spend money on shows to go to see in the Triple Crown scene. We don't have that. Okay, so with Ashino was first in a tag team. He's world tag team champion basically most of this year. He started the year in Runaway Suplex, where he was teaming with Suwama, which is great. And then they held the titles for 249 days. They had 3 defenses of that till they lost it to the team of Shuji Ishikawa and Kohei Sato, the Twin Towers, who only held the titles for 36 days, so basically just over a month. And they had 1 defense, and then they lost it to the new team of Ashino and Ryuki Honda because Suwama had turned heel on Ashino. He reformed Voodoo Murders, much to my chagrin. They brought back fucking Taru. What the fuck? Why? That guy was shit in 0-1. He made 0-1 worse. No offense to 0-1 or its fans, but I don't know how you make 0-1 worse. Oh, you have fucking Taru in it. It's like, how would you make MLW worse? Well, you'd have fucking, I don't know, fucking Enzo Amore in it. That's how you would make fucking MLW worse. Okay, well, this is the fucking equivalent of that. Okay, you fucking have Taru and the fucking Voodoo Murders in there, ruining everything with their sports entertainment. Oh, this is what a heel looks like, and this is I blame Tajiri because apparently he's the booker and he loves the sports entertainment shit because he was in WWE. He's like, that's how wrestling should be. No, fucking Tajiri, it's not how fucking wrestling should be, especially not in Japan.
I think he's actually leaving at the end of this year too.
Fuck, good. Nosawa's retiring. Good. Get fuck off, both of you. We'll get to Geto in a little later, but anyways. So then by the way, Ashino and Honda have a great name. Gungear of Anarchy. Just what a great name. Anyways, they held it for nice, 126 days, 4 defenses. Great. You think, oh, they're on a roll. They should hold these titles for a long time because they're getting over as a tag team. Nope. They lose to Suwama and the returning Masayuki Kono, who are the current tag team champions. And Karen, they won the titles on October 23rd. Guess how many defenses they've had of those titles here in December? That's right, a
0?
big fucking 0. Fuck off. You had this hot team who was like defending these things almost every month, having good matches that people were talking about, that people were like saying, shit, I should go to an All Japan show if Gungear of Anarchy are fucking on it. No. Then Ashino got hurt, and it's just like, the fuck. So I hold out a slimmer of hope for All Japan in 2023. I haven't canceled my fucking All Japan subscription yet. But let me tell you, if 2023 continues as 2022 has, since June, it's on the cusp of getting fucking canceled, because I can spend that $10 somewhere else. You know what I'm
How
saying?
much?
Like,
How many shows are you giving them in 2023?
I'm giving them till March, and then
Okay.
and then because it's a monthly subscription, right? So it's like they got till March, and then like that's going to my fucking lunch money. You know what I'm saying? Like $10 is going to, like, I'm gonna, this today I'm treating myself to an extra lunch that's going to be like at least $10.
Fancy lunch.
Fine.
$10 lunch.
There you go. Anyways, but that's the thing. Okay, Takuya Nomura, Naoya Nomura, Yuma Aoyagi, push them, please. I'm not worried about Kento Miyahara. He's bulletproof essentially right now.
He's fine. He'll be fine.
And he's fine. Like, he is a great wrestler. Yeah, but you really need to keep on hold of Ashino. You need to keep a hold of, Ryuki Honda. And then you had like a nice little crop of like guys underneath them, Kumarashi and Koji Doi.
The Aoyagi brothers.
The Aoyagi brothers. Atsuki is the current junior champion. You can have a good, solid, like, indie, like, indie level, promotion that can draw like 2,000 to Korakuen, without restrictions, COVID restrictions and attendance. You can draw occasionally if you have a big enough match, a decent, maybe half-filled sumo hall. Budokan's a little too ambitious unless you're bringing in like fucking Naito and Tanahashi, or like a big name from creating a dream match for Miyahara from like, no, like, honestly, the only dream match I can see for Kento Miyahara is Katsuhiko Nakajima, because apparently they hate each other because of their time with, being part of like Diamond Ring, Kensuke Sasaki's like, because they were both trained by him and they were both part of the same dojo. So apparently they don't like each other. Kento got a good relationship with Kensuke and Akira Hokuto, because he's been seen having barbecues with them. So there you go.
Ooh, do love a good barbecue.
But anyways, also I want to look at, like, Yuma's fine. I think Yuma Aoyagi's in a good position where he is. He won the Champion Carnival this year. He beat Jake in the finals, and I think that was a good position to be in. But again, like, without Jake there, and like without, with Jake kind of not being pushed seriously, it's like you could have had like you could have had like this natural rivalry you could have like exploited in 2023 between Yuma and Jake, but that's not going to happen.
Just a quick refresher of my mind. The reason Miyahara got the belt in the tournament final was because Jake had to vacate it because he had gotten injured, correct? Was it it was Jake who vacated the belt originally, right? Because he had won it after the Champions Carnival last year.
Last year he got he got COVID, didn't he? I think I had to look this up.
Sorry, I mean I didn't mean to sidetrack the conversation.
For this year, he just lost clean to Sawama in his first defense.
When Miyahara got the belt earlier in the year by defeating Ryuki Honda in the tournament.
It's like he got injured. Yes, he got injured.
He had the same. I think he had the same injury Sonata did. He had his eye socket shattered.
Yes, by Ryuki Honda.
Okay.
By Honda.
Sorry for that sidetrack. I was like,
no.
I'm trying to like piece it all together because I didn't make any notes. I'm just
because like, he also has like incredible bad luck. Jake Lee with getting injured. Unfortunately, I think he had COVID last year in 2021, and he got injured. He had to vacate the title. I think he would have had the title run that that I wanted to see. This year, but it is what it is. So that's the kind of All Japan report. Like I really like. There's so many wrestlers I like in this company. I like it's kind of like, it's not what it used to be. That's okay. Like I still have my glory days. I can still watch whenever I want. And I don't, lost all hope of it becoming anything bigger than it could be, because when like Muto took everyone and formed Russell One with, like, he took Sonata and Manabusoya and everyone else, but it is what it is. But any final thoughts about All Japan before we move on?
Not about the product this past year, but I was gonna mention when we talked about on the long and winding royal road. Did you happen to pick up the book The Muto Years by Jonathan Foy?
Yes, of
Because
course.
my friend told me about it and that our episode was referenced in it. So I was like, I guess I gotta figure out what I said in this book now. But yeah, I just thought it was really it was a wild thing for it to happen to me in 2022, is that me knowing very, very little about All Japan is now kind of talking about things like this, which I thought was really fun.
Yeah, Jonathan actually interviewed me for that book.
Did he?
So yeah,
I just got it in the mail yesterday, so I haven't started reading it yet.
so I'm still reading it. I'm a very slow reader these days. But I lent it to John Pollock, and he said, when he gave it back to me in Newark, New Jersey during the Post Wrestling 5th anniversary event, he's like, this is a really good book. So Jonathan, if you're listening, I know you are. And Jonathan's a big supporter of the show. John liked your book. So there you go. And Jonathan's on his way to Tokyo soon.
Well, excellent. Well, I hope he has a safe trip.
Yeah.
Bring your mask. Wash your hands.
Yeah, he seems
Bring
like a
a
very
hand towel.
reasonable person. So I don't think he's going to be a problematic weebo.
Yeah,
like
the
some
Post
people.
Puroresu book club. That's another project we can start. But yeah, I'm excited about it too.
Yeah.
As someone who's learning about All Japan, especially with both current All Japan and previous All Japan.
Listen, like, he's covering the era of like one of your favorites, Sonata.
I know.
Back then, Seiya Sonata.
Well, Seiya Sonata, and he talks about Satoshi Kojima. I'm a Kojima fangirl, so
there you go. Big. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Kojima's a big part of. You ever seen every Kojima stuff when he was the leader of F4?
No, give me some Matrex, man.
You can go check Cage Match, but like, he was the leader of his own faction called F4. Tag team, like, as an aside, that I really liked that he was in was the tag team he had with Kaz Hayashi.
Okay.
A heavyweight and a junior, like, and they were world tag team champions in All Japan. So
good for them.
So there you go. Kaz Hayashi. I wish he was booking more. He's actually a good booker. So.
Now, is Kaz Hayashi in All Japan, or is he? Because I think I've seen him on GLEAT, right?
Yeah, I think he's like the wrestling booker for GLEAT, and he does dates for Pro Wrestling Noah as well.
Yeah, because I know I've seen his name in a couple of different places, and I was like, I know I've heard that name before, but I also know I've not seen it with All Japan because I haven't kept up with All Japan.
I will say this, Karen, if you get into like early, not early 2000, but like say from like 2007, basically when Muto comes in and he's really running, he's kind of running full steam. He installs like Kaz Hayashi and Shuji Kondo as bookers at, I think, not at the same time, but like kind of like at various points. Like at one point, like the period that I really like is like, I think Shuji Kondo is the booker of it, and it's a really, really great time. And it's like when all these guys are coming out of the dojo, Sonata, Manabusoya, Hiroshi Yamato, and Kai. These are all guys that are like, and you have like, Joe Doring is kind of being brought in and as like their big foreigner, Stan Hansen, Neo Stan Hansen, kind of, because he's got the cowboy gimmick, or as my friends Bong and Emily would say when we see Joe Doring in person, hey, it's Michigan Dad.
Michigan Dad.
If you're wondering why do they call Joe Doring Michigan Dad, is because as Emily, who's from the Pacific Northwest of America, she says, WA, she looks like he's a dad from Michigan with that mustache he has.
I can see that. It's a very Midwest mustache.
And it's nothing against Joe Doring. We have a lot of love
it's complimentary
for Joe Doring on this show. Very great wrestler. Anyways, let's move on to Pro Wrestling Noah, and let's take a look at the GHC heavyweight title, because if there's anything that can be a barometer for my distaste for the booking of Pro Wrestling Noah, Karen, it's the booking of the GHC heavyweight title. So
Yeah.
at the start of the year,
a lot happened this year.
yeah, at the start of the year, we had someone who should hold the title, and that's Katsuhiko Nakajima. He had 136 days as champion, he had 4 defenses until he lost the belt in an incredibly terrible way to one Kazuyuki Fujita, who I think is a fucking cancer on the business of wrestling in Japan. I don't care if you enjoy his fucking wrestling. I don't care if you enjoy him crowbarring younger wrestlers and hurting them on purpose. He fucking sucks and is bad for business. Anyways, I got that out of my way. He had 1 defense of that title. I think he beat Masato Tanaka, another guy in his 50s. Who, by the way, Kazuki Fujita is way older than Masato Tanaka. Has no business holding a title in Japan. Not because of his age per se, it's a factor, but because of his unprofessionalism. And he didn't. And guess who he put over? Nobody, because he got COVID, or so he says. I have my doubts, but anyways, I don't want to get any more heat with that. Our good friend JP got a little bit of heat for talking about COVID and Fujita, but anyways. He didn't put anyone over. He should have put the guy who would win the title in a tournament. That would be one of your favorites, Go Shizaki. 43 days as champion. He defeats Kaito Kiyomiya, the guy we talk about as being fucked over the most in this company in the last 3 years.
Bless that poor boy.
He defeats Kiyomiya in a tournament final and loses it in his first defense to Satoshi Kojima, who you think, and you know what? This is not even like a loss that I would be angry about, because I thought, you know what? Kojima is one of those guys from New Japan, part of the 3rd generation that can still go, Karen.
Yes.
Like Nagata.
He's 2023 for some reason is the year of Satoshi Kojima in Noah.
In Noah, yeah.
He's working hard and hustling hard.
He's not afraid to put people over.
No,
he
just wants to enjoy the wrestling.
Yeah, and
eat bread and play with his dogs.
And he just like, okay, who do you want me to put over? Well, Keno. Okay, so
sure.
He puts over Keno at the big, and Kojima wins it at the big Cyber
Fight
Festival, yeah, and then he loses it to Keno, who also loses the belt in his first defense after holding it for 71 days. So for 71 days, he holds his belt. He only has 1 defense, and he loses it in the first defense, which is weird. But, anyways, he loses it to the guy who currently holds it, and that's Kaito Kiyomiya, and he's been holding the belt since September 25th. He has defeated Fujita in his first defense.
I got a little nervous, honestly, when he was announced as the first contender. I was like, oh no, we're not doing this again, are we?
Well, you could say, oh, so Fujita put someone over WH. Well, there's losing and putting someone over, and losing and not putting someone over. This is called the Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, a method of putting someone over. No disrespect to Scott Hall, rest in peace. But
right.
History is history. Read a history book, right? So, Kiyomiya got over Fujita. Didn't get put over by Fujita, but he got over him. And then he has since had a defense against one of our favorites, Karen, Timothy Thatcher. So
love me some Thatcher can.
And then he is the current champion. He's going to go into the big show later on. Oh, did I get? Yeah, I'm going to talk about these the big shows like later on. Did I? Wait a sec. I didn't mention. Oh, okay. I got to talk about the All Japan and the Noah shows together before we move on to Stardom. But he's going to be in the main event of the big Noah show in January. Let's talk about the national title. This was a lot more stable. We only had 3 champions this year versus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 champions for your main title, which is, I think, ridiculous. So we had Keno, 78 days, 3 defenses. Masakatsu Funaki, 292 days.
King.
And again, not another older guy who I don't necessarily have a problem with, because like I think he tried to have different kind of matches with that belt. Like a
Yeah.
lot of them were not long. Like
No.
in fact, he beat Sakuraba in like less than a minute or something, like with an armbar or something. I haven't seen the match. I just saw the result, but I can't remember top of my head. But that's I think we should have more title defenses like that, where it's like he beats in less
Yes,
than 5 minutes.
please.
Why not?
I don't need a 35-minute match for every single championship.
And then he had 6 defenses with that belt until he lost it to, of all people, the last person I thought would have beaten Masakatsu Funaki, and that's Dr. Wagner Jr. Jr.
I don't.
You might know him
get
as
it.
El. You might know him as El Heel del Dr. Wagner Jr., but I call
Yeah,
him.
I don't get him. I try to understand him. He's like beige curtains. He doesn't really do anything for me. I'm
He's
sure he's a
okay.
lovely person, but it just
The first time I saw Dr. Wagner Jr. in live, it was on a Stardom show.
really.
Yeah, because he was teaming with his dad, Dr. Wagner Jr. Sr. And because they were like they have a good relationship with Rossy Agawa or something like that.
Got it.
And they were like, yeah, it was weird. But Dr. Wagner Jr. has been like doing pretty well in Noah since he joined there. He, was tag team champions with Rene Dupree. The Canadian Mexican connection. I don't think they call themselves that, but anyways, there you go. Maybe Dr. Wagner Jr. will become a top level foreign wrestler for Pro Wrestling Noah come this year if he doesn't lose the belt anytime soon. But he's okay.
I have high hopes for Thatch.
I'll say this about Junior. He's no Junior Senior, because Dr. Wagner Junior Senior, holy fuck, he was one of my favorite guys. Have you ever seen any of his stuff in New Japan Pro Wrestling, Karen?
No.
He had an awesome. He was in the juniors. He had an awesome
Dr. Wagner
team.
Jr. was in the junior division.
Oh yeah. He teamed with Koji Kanemoto. Awesome team. They had bangers with like Takaiwa and Otani. Then he would team. One of my favorite teams. He would start teaming with his brother Silver King from WCW, and that team was fucking awesome. And I think they also teamed a little bit when Silver King became the third, no, the fourth incarnation of Black Tiger after Eddie. So no,
okay.
Wait, no, Eddie's 2. Eddie is Black Tiger 2, because Rollerball Rocco is number 1. Then it's Eddie, so he's the third incarnation of Black Tiger. Rocky is the fourth.
I was gonna ask you if Rocky was before or after him in that succession.
So Rocky's after Silver King.
Got it.
As Black Tiger. Silver King, I think he's passed away. Rest in peace. But he was awesome. But like Dr. Wagner Jr. and Silver King as a junior tag team, they were juniors. They don't look like it, but they were juniors. Awesome.
They were juniors on paper.
I do recommend, if you can, like find matches of them on New Japan World. Seek them out. He had an awesome Best of the Super Juniors final with Kanemoto.
Ooh, I do like a good Super Junior. So
it's
I'll see what I can find.
But talking about the big tournament in Noah is the N1 Victory tournament that was won by Kaito Kiyomiya, who defeated Hideki Suzuki to win that. So I hold out a little bit hope for Noah going into 2023. With the heavyweight scene.
And why is that, WH?
I don't know. I just feel like, well, fucking Muto's retiring, so he's hopefully not going to be so much an influence over there, and hopefully a lot of his fucking cronies. And also Nosawa, he says he's retiring. He says he's retiring from wrestling. I don't know if he's retiring from booking this company. If he's still booking the company, then not so much, but we'll see. Maybe Noah will finally wake up and say, Nosawa, we do not need your services any longer as a wrestler or as a booker, so please fuck off. That would be make my 2023 really great. But yeah, I don't know. Like I do think they have a really good roster. It's a nice mix of the veterans who are under the age of 58. By the way, the ones that are under the age of 58, no problems. Your Mochizukis and your Marufujis. Yeah,
Yay!
and the returning Kenta.
I am so ready. I am
Yeah,
so ready for
we'll
that.
talk about that. We'll talk about
Woo!
that.
Let's
But
go.
yeah, but like like to me, like for me, like the guys you got to push are Kiyomiya. Also, uh, Masakita Miya, it should be someone you have to make this year. Like rehabilitate Nakajima as well. Keno, I think Keno is fine. Like he's
Yeah.
kind of you can beat him. He just has to have good matches and he'll come back. But
He has such a
I
strong personality
yeah, he's so
that
angry.
like he's an angry little gremlin boy, but it's fine. I love him, but it's one of those things like he's another one that he can go, but he can also eat losses, and it's not gonna hurt him either way.
Yeah. I actually like the fact that they go out and trying to find like different types of like foreign wrestlers who don't like who aren't your ex WWE dudes necessarily. Like, they're not, like guys who got, fired from WWE and then went back as soon as like Triple H give him a call,
Yeah,
Like I'm
Jack.
kind of
I'm really digging the work Jack Morris is doing. I think
yeah,
that's his
I haven't
name.
seen him yet, but he's doing really well. He's getting over with the fans over there. Like Timothy Thatcher being there, I think that's great. I think teaming
I
with
I,
like
I hope
Hideki Suzuki
Thatcher
is great.
stays there. I hope WWE doesn't bother him. They just leave him alone and let him do the wrestling because that's what
I
he does.
I I feel he's not going to be a guy that Triple H calls, and I don't think even if he did, I don't feel like he's gonna go. I think he likes being a wrestler.
Yeah.
So but yeah, let's talk about before we move on from pro wrestling. No, and before I get your final thoughts about that, I want to talk about some shows that are going to happen. We'll go chronologically. So first is going to be the January Noah the New Year, January 1st at Budokan Hall. And if I was in Japan, I would go to the show.
Same.
I like the key matches here. The for the main event, the for the GHC heavyweight title, it's going to be Kaito Kiyomiya taking on his perennial rival, former tag team partner Keno. I'm going to say Kiyomiya retains the title. I don't think it's a good idea to take the belt off of him this soon. What do you think?
Yes, I think as much as I love seeing Keno with the belt, Kiyomiya needs to hang on to it a bit longer because I don't feel like he's had a good long run with it just yet. I'm just concerned that much like last year after that 16-minute draw that Keno and Nakajima had, Go Shiozaki's gonna come strolling back through the door like a bad penny, being like, "Hey, honey, I'm home."
Well, I
So,
mean, I've always maintained instead of Muto, it should have been Kiyomiya who beat Shiozaki
oh, I agree
for
completely.
for that particular reign
Yes,
of Shiozaki's holding the GHC title.
yes,
Next,
absolutely.
I think the match maybe you're the most excited about, Karen. The GHC tag team titles held currently by Takashi Sugiura and Satoshi Kojima are going to be they are being challenged by the reformed, arguably the greatest tag team in the history of Pro Wrestling Noah, at least in their juniors, and that would be the team of Naomichi Marufuji and Kenta, who are coming back to challenge Sugiura and Kojima. I'm kind of curious as to which version of Kenta we're gonna see here. I know he's been doing a lot of promos where he's saying, I hate Marufuji as a person. We're the polar opposites, but we are really good as a tag team, and we're gonna win these tag team titles. I think there's a very good chance that Marufuji and Kenta win the tag team titles because I think Kenta is probably like, I don't need, New Japan's not really using me prominently. I'll just go do what Kojima's doing here and work Noah for a while.
I mean, if New Japan doesn't have anything for Kenta because Bullet Club is so saturated with people, it has too many bodies right now. Why not? I mean, I was at the venue when Marufuji made this declaration that Maruken was getting back together for the show, and the venue wasn't that full, but the sound in that room
Oh yeah.
was unbelievable. And I mean, I feel for Sugiura because he was like Kobayashi-san, because that's what he calls Kenta by his government name. He's like, but he joined Sugiura-gun earlier this year. What do you mean you're gonna tag with him against me? No. So it's this whole cute little like kind of all my favorites in one match.
Yeah.
I mean, I like Sugiri. I wouldn't say he's my favorite, but like with Kojima and Marufuji and Kenta there, I'm very excited.
I think it'll be a good match too. I think
it's gonna
these
be.
guys are.
I think there's gonna be personality in this match. It's gonna be a fun match, but also a hard hitting match.
I think Kenta's not trying to be the Kenta of old. I think he's now
No.
settled into being like, this is what I am. This is what I can do. I'm gonna do my best to be the best version of this Kenta now. And Marufuji is, I feel the same way. And you got guys who are like great bases.
Yeah.
You know, like with Sugiura and Kojima here. So I think it'll be it could possibly be, you know, could be the dark horse runner for match of the show. So
I'm sure.
But the other big match will be the final appearance of the Great Muta in Pro Wrestling Noah.
I'm not excited about that. I'm not excited about that part of the match.
Against at least for this match, he's not part of the WWE, but it is returning to Japan. It's Shinsuke Nakamura, and
let's go.
So this got a lot of buzz when they announced that
I'm so
Muta's
happy for Shinsuke.
You know, so we talked a bit about this last month's show, Karen, like the history of like Muta and Muto, more accurately with Muto and Shinsuke Nakamura. Shinsuke Nakamura, as far as I know, he's never faced the Great Muta. He's only faced Keiji Muto. So this will be, but he has lost twice to Keiji Muto. Yeah. Both times he lost the title, the IWGP title to him, and then he lost in one of Muto's title defenses against him. So this will be his third round with Muto, but in the guise of the Great Muta. So I'm gonna say it's probably gonna be Shinsuke Nakamura. Politically, I do not think WWE is agreeing to this unless Nakamura is winning the match.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's one of, like, I think back to when Kenta came back from Marufuji's anniversary show. And if I'm not mistaken, Kenta lost that match, but because of the history between the two of them, WWE was fine with it. But Shinsuke,
Kenta was really never on main roster. He was only on in NXT briefly, and then 205 Live.
205 Live, yeah.
They don't care about.
I know.
Also, we have to remember it wasn't Kenta who was in that match. It was Hideo Itami.
Correct. But yeah, I'm hoping that if Shinsuke's packing his bags and flying back for his first non-WWE match in Japan in 7 years, that he wins. I'd be kind of sad for him to do it.
I think he's winning. He's on main roster. There's no way he's losing.
I mean, Muta's retiring. He doesn't need to win right now.
See, it's Keiji Muto. So.
Hey, he put Kiyomiya over, which is more than what I was expecting when that match happened.
Again, Karen, there's losing to somebody, and then there's putting them over. But my big question is, which music do we get? Do we get his New Japan theme, or do we get his WWE theme?
I don't know if Noah has the money to pay for the WWE theme. Personally, because of the history with New Japan, I want the New Japan theme. But because we live abroad, it'll probably be dubbed over anyway, so it doesn't really matter what.
Well, I mean, they have the relationship with New Japan, so they can say, "Can we use his New Japan theme?"
Yeah,
and I think New Japan be like, "Fuck yeah, we're not
why
using
not?
it anyways. You can use."
You're borrowing Kenta, and you already have Kojima. Sure, why not?
So here's his theme again. Like if WWE are agreeing to let Nakamura, be on this show, like I would think, yeah, of course they're gonna, you have to play his WWE theme to come into the ring.
It would be nice. It's just one of those things where it's just like I've noticed that when they've been publicizing this match, they're talking about Shinsuke, but a lot of there's very minimal, if any, mention of WWE branding on any of their show cards. So it's weird. Like I would love to have his WWE theme, but again, it all depends on if they're broadcasting on Wrestle Universe or if they're using Abema and how that's all gonna work. And because Abema likes to mute things and dub over with really weird music, so.
Well, we'll find out, Karen. We'll find out on January 1st. Again, if I was in Japan, I'd totally be watching, attending this show live.
I would be screaming my head off.
All right. So we'd be going to this together.
Yes.
Yes. We sitting together.
Yep.
Not in the foreign section. We'll be sitting in the proper Japanese section.
Yes. Yes. We will not be corralled.
So again, like let's keep this theme of like shows that we would be going to. So the next day, we would be going to Corkin Hall. We'd be stopping off at I'd be stopping off 7-Eleven. I don't think there's any 7-Elevens near Corkin Hall, so I'd have to go to Lawson's.
Yes. You'd have to suck it up and be my wingman at Lawson's.
Yeah, that's okay. I do like Lawson's.
Did you know the Denny's closed? The Denny's that was next to that Lawson's closed
really?
down.
Yeah,
it's gone.
I'm not surprised. I think COVID killed a lot of businesses.
Somehow that TGI Fridays is still there, but that Denny's was so good.
You know, probably because like a lot of the foreign wrestlers go to TGI Fridays. I can tell you stories about being in that TGI Fridays and who I saw there.
I've never been, and I don't ever intend to go.
It's not bad. It's not bad.
It's the pricing for me. If someone's gonna pay like to take me to dinner at that Friday, they'll say, "Hey, sure."
All right, we just walked 10 minutes to Caesarea anyways. Like, I know how you feel about Caesarea. I fucking love Caesarea.
Hey, I'm down with it.
It's comfort food.
Yes.
It's affordable fucking comfort food in Japan.
Sometimes that's all you want.
So, but we could go to Corkin Hall January 2nd for All Japan's double header, January 2nd and 3rd at Corkin Hall. They do these every year. When I was in Japan, I tried to, more than Wrestle Kingdom, I would try to go to these fucking shows. This and Stardom at Shinkiba, which probably never happened again.
Nope.
Hey,
Stardom's too big. Yeah, I did one Shinkiba, and I will in the winter. I will never go there in the winter ever again.
Really, I was fine. I guess it's your sumo hall in the summer then.
Yeah, no, like I was sat in the row like opposite the door in the very back. So I was against the steel siding with the wind and coming underneath the siding. The gentleman next to me gave me his jacket because he saw how cold I was. So
we were sitting next to the ramp, so we were fine.
Yeah.
So,
no.
But yeah. Anyways, January 2nd at Corkin Hall, All Japan. It's going to be headlined. This is a great match. Well, at least one team's great. World Tag Team title match. Suwama and Kono will defend their World Tag Team titles against the winners of the Real World Tag League this year. That would be Kento Miyahara, current Triple Crown champion, and Takuya Nomura. I really want to see
that cherub of a boy.
You like him, right?
Yes.
He's kawaii, right?
He's so kawaii. He's so nice. Wish his cheeks.
So nice in real life too. I got to meet him several times.
Oh, I love to hear that.
He's really nice in real life. And then here's an interesting match, Karen. I don't know how excited I am about this, but I'm curious about it. And that's a team of Shuji Ishikawa and Hokuto Omori. And they're going to take on the team of Minoru Suzuki, who's doing a lot of dates outside of New Japan now with the dissolution of Suzuki Gun, and he's teaming with the dreaded X. Oh, okay. Karen's got an emergency of some kind, so we're just gonna talk about this. Who's X? Who the fuck is X? Because Minoru Suzuki is teaming with X on January 3rd as well. So like, is this going to be some big name? I'm kind of curious. I don't think it'll be a very good match, to be quite honest with you. I think like Omori is kind of a really fiery, young up-and-comer in All Japan. So like, I think you're going to see, like him try to hang with Minoru Suzuki. But I do feel Minoru Suzuki is probably going to beat the shit out of young Omori. All right, Karen is back.
Sorry about that. My dog started panicking downstairs and howling, and she never howls. So I was like, "What is something in the house?" So sorry about that.
Is everything okay?
Everything's fine.
Okay, that's good.
I just had to run downstairs and make sure that my dog was okay because she was barking a lot.
Not at all. No worries. You have to take care of our loved ones first and foremost. It's more important than talking about Japanese pro wrestling. No problem. But Karen, we were talking about Minoru Suzuki's teaming with someone, an X.
The infamous X. I assure you, gentle viewer or listener, I am not X. It is not me.
It's not me either. They couldn't afford me. But I would assume it's a big name teaming with Suzuki for this match against. So on January 2nd, it's against Ishikawa and young Omori. And I was saying like Omori is probably gonna try to have like, interaction with Suzuki, probably like, be a tough guy to Suzuki, but Suzuki's probably just going to beat the fucking shit out of him. But the next night on January 3rd, Minoru Suzuki and X will team against, again, Ishikawa, but this time he'll be teaming with Yuma Aoyagi. So bit better partner, more, someone with a bit better, placement on the roster than Young Amori. So
Question for you.
yes.
What's Taichi doing this year for the ye old Wrestle Kingdom?
I don't know. We'll talk about that because we're going to preview that card as well.
Because I could easily see Taichi, if he's got no plans on January 4th,
like hanging out, like
hanging out in his old, little homecoming.
Like how Shingo Takagi said, "Well, you're not fucking using me, so I'm gonna go back to my old haunt of Dragon Gate."
I mean, why not?
So we'll get to Shingo Takagi in New Japan in a little later on.
I have feelings about Shingo.
But also on the January 2nd show, the other big match or interesting match will be a World Tag Team Title #1 contendership match. Yuma Aoyagi and Naoya Nomura. Yes, I love this team taking on the Saito brothers, a team I do not love. In fact, I hate this team. They are fucking terrible. Here's the thing, Karen. Not only are they terrible in ring, oh my God, they're so bad. They have some of the worst god-awful gear I've ever seen in my life.
That makes me sad.
And I am talking about, it looks like their gear was made by like someone who worked for like fucking 1988 Jerry Lawler, Bill Dundee run fucking Memphis territory. This is how low rent their gear looks. It's fucking awful.
That bums me out.
So I'm gonna say, okay, here's my dream scenario for this show is, Miyahara and Nomura win the tag team titles, and then they're gonna face off against Aoyagi and Naoya Nomura for those titles down the line. Yeah, maybe in February. That's my dream. All right, let's go. January 3rd also got a good card. Topping it off, main event is Kenta Miyahara defending the Triple Crown against his tag team partner Takuya Nomura, and I am on hashtag Takuya wins the Triple Crown. Let's go. Like I think that would be so great. I love Takuya Nomura. He's so fucking good. And I think it would be just a great shot in the arm for this company if he won it. He's a great strong champion for Big Japan. So I think, he's proven that he can, be the Triple Crown champion. Let's fucking do it.
Let's go.
All Asia tag team title match. I have no interest in this match, Karen, but I just had included because how awful it sounds. For the All Asia tag team titles, it's the current champions Takao Omori and Masao Inoue, two Baba era All Japan dudes. And they're gonna take on a team of Nosawa, oh god, and Kendo Kashin, oh god. The two horrible bookers of Pro Wrestling Noah. And I have in my notes here, fuck off. So
I assure you that he's actually written those in the notes.
Okay, Ishikawa and Aoyagi versus Minoru Suzuki and X. Ryuki Honda, guy we've been talking about in regards to All Japan, taking on Naoya Nomura. That should be great. Like two guys who are fucking young and hungry. Let's fucking go. And yeah, Yuji Nagata will be teaming with two other guys. I think the rookie they had him teaming with in the Real World Tag League will be one of his partners, and someone else, I forget who. Sorry, everyone. I just wrote Yuji Nagata because he's in a tag match against the Voodoo Murders of Suwama and the Shit Saito brothers, and I wrote in my notes Shit Saito brothers because they are terrible. Karen, let me tell you something. When you fucking see these dudes and their gear, you're just gonna say, "Oh my god, I know exactly what you mean when you say 1988 Memphis territory gear." Level gear.
I'm just gonna be sad for them, aren't I? Because you know how I love good gear.
Yeah, but you don't have to be sad for them because, like, if it was two good wrestlers with bad gear, that's one thing. It's two shit wrestlers with shittier gear. I don't really care. It's just funny for me. It's just all about the laughs. All right. Any final thoughts about any of these shows or about Pro Wrestling Noah going into 2023, Karen?
I'm cautiously optimistic for Pro Wrestling Noah. If All Japan knows what's good for them, they might take some chances on some newer faces.
Yeah. let's keep our fingers crossed and our optimism guarded. Let's move on to a company you and I both are big fans of, and that is Stardom. And if we look at the titles of Stardom, it's interesting because Stardom is like the one company that has stability in how it books its roster and how it books its champions, and it's able to make stars based out of long championship reigns, and not just for the singles titles, but with their tag titles, including their trios titles, the Artist of Stardom titles, and only two teams have held these titles all year. The first was at the beginning of the year was Donna Del Mundo, the team of Himeka, Maika, and Natsupoi. They held those titles for 237 days. They had 7 defenses. Holy fucking shit. 7 defenses. All good, all fun, interesting matches with different members of the roster, and everyone in those matches got over with the fans, and like would get clipped or gift, and people be like, oh yeah, like these are like I can watch this shit. Then the current artist champions are the team of Oedo Tai, Momo Watanabe, Saki Kashima, and Starlight Kid. They are the current champions since winning those titles on May 28th, and they've had 5 defenses so far. And again, these are the trios titles, but these are these are a set of titles that are super stable. The people holding them get over and are able to get their opponents over, whether it was Donna Del Mundo or now Oedo Tai. I think it's such a great example of like how you can use like tag titles to really create a very interesting and very exciting undercard.
Yeah. The one thing I like about it is that 7 seems to be the unlucky number for whoever is holding the belt, because I believe Cosmic Angels and there's a Queen's Quest trio also that I've gotten to 7 and then got stopped. So this is a good way to keep the undercard interesting, but also the goal now is for someone to break and hit clear 8 defenses.
Yeah.
And Oedo Tai's gonna have their hands full with the Triangle Derby starting in January. So they may break it, or they may, who knows, if they have to defend the belts during the tournament, they may end up losing them.
So let's move on to the Goddesses tag titles. These are your traditional 2-person tag titles. At the beginning of the year, we had Hazuki and Koguma. 76 days. They won them from Julia and Shuri. They had 2 defenses before losing it to one of my favorite teams, Karen, Black Desire.
Black Desire.
Momo Watanabe and Starlight Kid. I love this team because if you follow Stardom, if you follow the history of Stardom, Momo was in Queen's Quest for a long time. Starlight Kid was, Mayu's understudy, the top, the plucky, rookie babyface, straight-laced babyface in Stars or Hontai, the Stardom version of Hontai. And now they're both heels, and like they never really interacted outside of being rivals so much in like before joining Oedo Tai. And so like I think they just have such great chemistry. And I used to think, Momo and Utami Hayashishida had amazing. I thought that was Momo's best, partner was Utami, but I think Starlight Kid complements Momo a lot better with Momo, because Momo brings like the viciousness and like the striking ability, and Starlight Kid is just one of the best high flyers in the world today. And I just think just such a great compliment. They had a nice 40 days, but only 1 defense before losing the titles back to Hazuki and Koguma, who are very big tag team as well. And I like this because you have the history with Momo and Hazuki both being in Queen's Quest. They started Queen's Quest with Azumi and Io Shirai, and then Hazuki joined Oedo Tai first, and then became rivals with Momo. And now it's kind of the opposites now, with Momo being the heel in Oedo Tai. So it's really great dynamics and storytelling we have we have history like that with the different members of these teams. And then, but Hazuki and Koguma had a 108-day reign, 4 defenses, until they lost a team of Meltier, which I'm still what is Meltier?
You're asking the wrong girl. I don't know. I've been trying to figure out where they came up with that.
Okay,
Maybe they thought it was cute.
it's your assignment, Karen.
My assignment.
Your investigative assignment
All
is to
right,
find out what.
I'll see where the naming of Meltier came from.
Maybe it's something. Maybe it's like it's written in katakana and it means something that way, or in kanji, or
No, it's all lowercase mel melt ear. So it's I don't know if it's mel and then tier or if it's melt ear. Like it's
maybe it's in reference to Wrestling Observer's Dave Meltzer.
well, the autocorrect likes to change it to the Meltzer. So
there you go. Probably not. But anyways,
if they couldn't get the Tokyo Sports Tag Team of the Year, they're going to try to get the Observer Awards.
That's right. They're Tag Team of the Year awards. So that's Natsupoi and Tom Nakano. They are the current champions since August 21st. They've had 2 defenses so far. And I think Stardom's tag team division is fucking great.
Absolutely.
Has been for I'd say the last 2-3 years, just established teams. And when you do create a new team, you try to create one with some history or interesting dynamics and try to keep them, together for a long time. Like before it was Shuri and Juliet, before them was with Micah and Himeka, who are still tagging together. So I just
my biggest frustration was the outcome of Goddess Tag League this year.
So can I just say Goddess Tag League, well, honestly, all Stardom tournaments are too fucking long.
Yes, it was a lot. It was a lot.
They need to dial these fucking back in. This is probably my big problem with Stardom is the booking of tournaments. They're too long. You have too many people in them. They don't feel like they're exclusive. I think Goddesses should be 10 teams, 2 blocks of 5. And then the finals meet, and it shouldn't be more than a month, if at that.
I feel like they're trying because their roster has grown so much. They're trying to have as many people on it as possible. But then you bring in some, they brought in Saki from Colors to team with Mina Shirakawa before she got injured, and then they brought in Nanae Takahashi and you. And it was just one of those things where it's like, why are you bringing in people when you have so many people?
Yeah,
like they don't need to do the biggest field to date for every single tournament because it just gets too big after a while. And then that there are people that are going to win, and then there are people that are going to go like maybe get 4 points in the entire tournament, which is a waste of people's time.
It is their big weakness in terms of booking is making both this 5-star Grand Prix too long, too big, too many people. Tournaments should be exclusive. Tournaments should not include everyone on the fucking roster, because then what's the point of having it's our best competitors? No, it's not. It's you're putting almost everyone in the tournament.
Except for
it's not exclusive. It's not exclusive. So
yeah.
Anyways, that's probably my only real negative about the booking of this company. Wonder Stardom. There's only been one champion of the white belt, Karen. It's Saya Kamitani, tall Saya, as some people call her, as opposed to Saya Ida, the short Saya. I don't use that as terms I call her Powerhouse Saya, powerful Saya, So
I call her Muscle Saya.
There you go. That's a good name too. Saya Kamitani.
Jack Saya, Buff Saya.
The current champion since December 29th, 2021. She's had 11 defenses. She's been on a fucking tear.
Yep.
And she has become a top star in Stardom because of this reign. And I think she's elevated that title as well. And that's a title, to say you helped elevate the Wonder Stardom title is no small feat, because I would say when I started watching Stardom in the kind of in the wake of the first Mae Young Classic, and I'm like, oh fuck, Kairi, she's fucking awesome. Oh, she's from Stardom. I never really, admittedly, I've never really paid too close attention to Stardom or Joshi in general before, but then I just got into it and I was just like, oh fuck, this stuff's awesome. But at the time, the World of Stardom champion was Toni Storm. She was hardly there, so they put the white belt on Io Shirai, and she was defending it all the time, and she was basically seen as the world champion there, not Toni. So to me, the white belt's always been more important than the red for the longest time until maybe the last year and a half or so. But yeah, Saya's been great, and like when someone beats her for that title, it's gonna be a big deal for that person. And do you have any thoughts on who you would like to see beat Saya for the Wonder of Stardom title?
Before that happens, I think Saya is on track to break Momo Watanabe's defense record of the belt. If I'm not mistaken, Momo has the longest Wonder of Stardom championship defense record consecutive at either 13 or 14 defenses.
Yeah, this is pre Bushi Road before they
Yeah.
were like, she's not what we want to push, which is a
Yeah.
shame because she's Momo Watanabe. For those of you who don't know, like maybe you're
She's
new to Stardom,
criminally underrated.
you're new to Stardom, and you're just like, oh, it's all about it's all about Julia and Shuri. And listen, Momo Watanabe is fucking awesome. She is one of the best workers in the world today, one of the best strikers, and a great heel. She's
Yeah.
such a good heel. A little overboard, a little bit for my taste sometimes, but generally great heel. Yeah, I think they're probably gonna let her beat the record, and because Saya Kaitani is one of those wrestlers that Bushi Road
They're
is
really
very high
high
on her.
on her. They
Very
love
high on
her.
her. That she's gonna be world of Stardom champion like in the next 2 years, I feel.
Yeah.
So yeah, who's gonna beat her?
Who's gonna beat her? My gut is telling me it's gonna be Starlight Kid.
Okay.
I feel like because when it comes to the white belt and the chase for the white belt, it's either gonna be Starlight Kid or it's gonna be Mina Shirakawa. But I feel like Starlight Kid has the edge over Shirakawa in that respect because she's a Stardom legacy talent. So I would see her getting it before Mina Shirakawa. But that's neither here nor there. But what much like Mayu Iwatani, Kamitani is a wall for a kid. She can't beat her. She can't have great matches with her. She can sneak in a win when she can, but when it comes time for a belt, she no matter what kid does, she cannot beat Kamitani when it counts. And that's been her biggest frustration throughout this last year is that she's been trying to get out of the high speed division. She wants to start being seen as a, not just a tag wrestler. She wants to get into that upper echelon. I think with as popular and as beloved as Kid is within the company, Kid could easily be the one to beat Kamitani once she beats Momo's record.
Right. I think she's, I'm going to go with you. I think Starlight Kid is the front runner to eventually win that title from Saya Kamitani, beat her for end this historic reign. But sometimes wrestling companies like to have like this left field win over long established champions.
Then it would be Shirakawa.
It could be Shirakawa
or Natsupoi. Those would be the two that I would keep my eye on.
I'm gonna say my dark horse pick will be Hazuki.
Yeah, Hazuki hasn't held either of the top titles.
Because I think also Hazuki is someone that they're very, very high on since he's returned to Stardom. And, like Momo, she's such a great wrestler.
Yes.
And could, with a win over Kamitani ending her reign, like she would be propelled straight. And she would fit there. She would fit very well in the upper echelon because she can have great matches with everyone.
Correct.
And so like she's my dark horse pick, my left field. But I'm gonna agree with you and say Starlight Kid is probably the most likely. Let's move on to World of Stardom. Also, only one champion this year. Also won the belt back at last year's Dream Queendom, December 29th, 2021, and that is the current champion Shuri, the number one women's wrestler in the PWI rankings for the year. Interviewed in a cover story by Karen Peterson.
Sure did. I sure did.
and really, honestly, the best, like Tom Lawler's favorite wrestler.
Yes.
I had Tom on the Long Winding Road, and I said, "You must be excited about possibly getting slapped by Julie." And he's like, "No."
He got beat down by both of them, and it was.
I think he liked
the MVP of historic crossover, hands down, was Tom Lawler because he just lived his best life that day.
Yeah, he got slapped by Julia.
He
you
got
know?
slapped by Shuri too.
Oh, yeah, I mean, like, double his best life, right?
Yeah, and
Anyways.
he grabbed Shuri's hand, ran up the ramp. It was like, Rapunzel and Flynn Rider and Tangled being like, "This is the best day ever." So yeah,
So Shuri has had 10 defenses of this title. She's established herself as one of the greatest red belt champions in the history of this company, again, that's no mean feat because Io,
yeah,
you know,
Io,
Mayu,
Mayu,
Kyrie,
Kyrie,
a lot of great fucking champions have held the red belt
and
in Sky.
her defense record, like her defense road, has not been an easy one either.
No, she like and I think
They put her through the ringer this year.
probably, she was like, give me the best. I want the best. And she's established herself as a Stardom legend now.
Yeah,
Which is great because she came in as a freelancer, as an outsider via Julia's, Donna Del Mundo, basically Donna Del Mundo was like, let's bring all these outsiders into the company, and establish them as being part of, being Stardom, uh, as established as Stardom Trueborns, like
yeah.
Kid and Mayu. But yeah, she will defend this title. We're going to talk on the next Dream Queendom, which will be happening on December 29th at Ryogoku Kokugikan Sumo Hall.
Where was that?
Ryogoku Kokugikan.
Yes, Ryogoku Kugikan.
Kokugikan.
Yes.
Karen, you speak better Japanese than me. Come on.
I'm sorry. I'm like Mayu. I get tongue tied on because it's just too many G's and K's together. It's
Yeah.
like also when you have too many L's and R's together at the same time. So it's like Ryogoku Kokugikan.
Okay, so just for people watching this on YouTube, my camera went out again, and
I was like,
it's gonna.
He left me all alone.
No. Hopefully, it comes back on. I don't know. I don't know what's been happening with my camera.
It's Karen.
I can hear you. Let me just go to well, we'll talk about this. I mean, ultimately, it doesn't really matter too much. Like, I feel more people listen to the audio of this than watch the. Besides, people can look at Karen. It's not so much important if they're looking at me or anything like that. Okay, let me try unplugging this one more time and putting it back in.
Please stand by.
Thought, please stand by. Start cam. Is that gonna maybe that to do it? Oh, here we go. Okay, I should be coming back.
Let's go.
I apologize to all the listeners. We're not watching the fucking video, WH. We're not looking at your fucking face. We're just looking at Karen anyways.
Guys, watch the video. I put makeup on for you all. So watch the video, please.
So, sorry, as I take a drink of water here.
Do what you gotta do, man.
But we're Shuri is going to defend the title against the winner of the 5-star Grand Prix this year. That would be Julia, who defeated Tom Nakano. Tom Nakano's wall is Julia.
Yes.
That
was her wall when it came to the Wonder of Stardom Championship. So, but Tam has other plans on January 4th, but we'll get to that.
We'll get to that. So yes, and with that, Julia will challenge Shuri for the World of Stardom title, and I do feel there's a title change coming on.
Correct.
I think Julia will ascend to the role that she was always meant to be, and that is the face of Stardom, being the ace of Stardom. I think she will cement her role as like the top star of Stardom, and Shuri will not be hurt by this. Shuri can always become the World of Stardom champion in the future, and she probably will be, because I think they fucking love her in that company.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think had Julia not dropped out last year with the neck injury, the roles might have been reversed, where Julia won last year's 5-star Julia won last year's 5-star and Shuri won this year, but it actually worked out better the other way around. Because I feel like Julia needed, after winning the white belt and having that hair versus hair match, she needed to not to fall a fair bit, but she needed to do other things. So when it came to this part of the arc for her, it felt exciting again.
Everyone likes a redemption story.
Yes.
And she had to get redemption for losing the hair match with Tom.
And then being the masked assailant when she was out injured to bring in Mariah and Tekla.
Yeah, it's weird booking. Rossi Agawa is kind of weird sometimes. some of the ideas he has, some of these sports entertainment ideas he has. But let's talk about Dream Queendom, Karen. Sumo Hall, December
Next week.
29th. Yeah, yeah, it'll be next week. Still, like by the time this drops on postwrestling.com. World of Stardom title. Shuri versus Julia. Wonder of Stardom title. Saya Kamatani taking on outsider Haruka Umasake from the Diana promotion. Tell us a bit about Haruka Umasake.
Haruka is kind of like their version of Kairi or Saya Kamatani. She's the young upstart ace. She's been their champion. For those who've been keeping an eye on the New Blood series, she's been working those shows. But interestingly enough, in the last one or last two, she kind of turned heel and created this alter ego called Karma, who now tags with Oedo Tai and Starlight Kid in particular. Much like Starlight Kid flipping Momo Watanabe to the dark side, Starlight Kid also managed to pull out some dark alter ego out of Haruka. But for this match, we're getting, as far as I know, babyface Haruka Umasake.
Okay. So I feel like, like another person who came from Diana is Sarai in NXT. Sarai. I feel like if Sarai never went to NXT, which she shouldn't have.
Yeah.
all things being in hindsight being 2020. Yeah, I think this would have been Sarai's, Sarai's spot. So I'm not still familiar with Haruka Umasaki, so I'm excited to see this particular match. It's very hard for me to fit in like new blood into my wrestling game.
She's feisty. You'll enjoy the match. It just doesn't need to be a 27-minute Kamatani match. It needs to be under 20 minutes.
Yeah,
because Julia and Shuri is probably gonna go long.
This show's gonna be long.
Yes.
I that would be my I'm not so excited about this, but I would go to this. I would go to this show. I was looking at the tickets. They have the box seats, like for the sumo.
Yeah.
You can sit in it by yourself because of COVID restrictions, and I would have been so on top of that.
Yep.
If I could have sat in a box by myself, or if we're going together, Gary, just could have been like we could have gone together. We could
just you're the one, two of us.
We put out the basket from all the fucking 7-Eleven food we buy.
Let's go picnic.
Because they don't care. You can bring outside food into Sumo Hall. You know that? They don't fucking care. Like, they expect it. Usually for sumo, people are there for hours.
Hours upon hours. It's a very long day when it's a sumo show.
Several bento boxes.
I would make, well, it wouldn't be a charcuterie board, but it would be like, the convenience store version of a charcuterie board. I could make one of those.
You can listen.
I'd bring a bottle of wine.
Stores, we talked about this. They're fucking awesome. You can get so much good shit. Better than anything you can find in America or Canada. Anyways, Goddesses of Stardom tag team title match. Tam Nakano, Natsupoi, Meltzer. I don't know. Tam Nakano, Natsupoi taking on the outsider team of Nanae Takahashi. Legendary.
Stardom legend. First world
founder of Stardom.
Yes.
Nanae Takahashi teaming with you, who's also in a tag team with Chihiro Hashimoto from Sendai Girls.
Big Hash.
So, I don't see a title change here. I think Meltier is going to keep the titles.
I hope they don't drop them, but since Takahashi and you were the Goddesses of Stardom Tag League winners, I don't know. I also don't know how things are going to play out with Tam and the IWGP Women's Championship and also the Triangle Derby happening next month either. So I want to believe it's staying on them, but part of me feels like they might put it. I don't remember if you and Takahashi are in the Triangle Derby. I want to say I saw the use name listed somewhere. This is like, I've been like, ever since the Goddesses Tag League finished, I'm on like a brain break before all of next week and the following week.
Fair enough.
But I can't remember who's in the, I don't know if both of them are in the Triangle Derby or not, but it gets complicated if they keep the belt, then it kind of makes it feel like Tam losing to Kairi at the Dome is a foregone conclusion. So yeah, because
I mean, I feel that she's losing choice.
Well, given recent reports and rumors that surrounding a certain someone showing up at the Tokyo Dome, yeah. But yeah, it just kind of feels like it does a disservice. It sabotages this match and the other match. But
Let's move on though. Artists of Stardom, Starlight Kid, Momo Watanabe, and someone I sometimes refer to with my friends as my wife, Saki Kashima.
really,
I'm very very affectionate towards Saki Kashima. She's very lovely, very cute. Suzu Suzuki taking on one of my other favorites in wrestling. She's fucking awesome. Suzu Suzuki. Not a big fan of the deathmatch wrestling, but she's good at it. I'll say
she's good
that.
at it.
But she's also good at just being a badass wrestler. Suzu Suzuki.
She is crazy talented.
She is. How old is she? She's like
20. She
Yeah,
just
crazy.
turned 20 this year.
Suzu Suzuki, Risa Sera, Kurumi Hiragi.
Hiragi, yeah.
Yeah, Kurumi Hiragi. Prominence. They're collectively known as Prominence. Yeah, I don't know. I really feel they want to try to get as many dates with Suzu Suzuki in this company. And one way to do that would be to give her the artist title. What do you think, Aaron?
They're also really high on Risa Sera. I just don't know if they would end Oedo Tai's reign before the Triangle Derby.
Right.
It all depends if they want the belts in the Derby or not.
We'll see. We'll
Yeah.
see. This could go either way. I'm gonna say there's gonna be a title change. I
Okay.
really think they being Stardom would really want to get
to hang on to their
to Suzu Suzuki and Risa Sera, especially, but more Suzu Suzuki. I think if they could try to sign her, they're going to. I think they're gonna, I think she's very independent. My feeling is, from what I read, she's very independent. She likes being a freelancer. She likes having the ability to still do death matches. She's really fond of doing those. So
she's in the middle of a 10-match death match trial series, which
well, there you go.
She's losing every single one of them, but she's going up against some big names. So
she fight Jin Kasai yet?
Not yet.
Is he the last? I imagine she might be last.
I think she just recently fought Drew Parker.
Okay.
And oh god, I don't know. I can't, off the top of my head, I can't think of anybody else. But I think Drew was number either 5 or 6 in the series, so she has a couple of more left. And Risa just recently had her 10th anniversary show where she did a 60-minute Iron Woman match with against 10 opponents, one for every single year. And I believe Jun Kasai was one of the people in that match.
So Suzu Suzuki just had a match. I haven't seen it yet, but I got so much buzz about this from my circle, with Suzu taking on Tomoko. Oh, she teams with Shuri Inaba.
Oh, Inaba Tomoko, yeah.
From
Takataichi Mania.
Yeah, I heard so many good things about that. I really want to see that. Yeah, I heard a lot of good things about that.
I don't want to buy another pay-per-view WH. There's too many pay-per-views.
You don't have to buy this pay-per-view. Anyways.
Is that my Christmas present? Are you giving me a Christmas present?
Let's just say you don't have to pay to see it.
Yay! Christmas present.
There you go. We'll talk off air about this.
I know nothing.
But yes, I heard a lot of good things about this, and I'm pretty sure I have access to this match. Anyways, high speed title, Azumi, current champion. How long has she held this title?
Forever. She's probably one of the most decorated high speed champions. High speed championship. I want to find out who the they have it listed by age. Oh, boo-hoo.
So Azumi is taking on outsider Hikari Shimizu from the Colors promotion, which is kind of, I think this is the promotion that rose out of the ashes of Actress Girls, I believe.
Correct. They were getting their part of Actress was getting canceled or cut or whatever, and they said, well, we'll just we'll go on our own. We'll go do the thing.
I went to an Actress Girls shows once at Corkin. It was long. It was fun. It was fun. I will say this, but I would say I forget her name. the referee who's been a referee in Joshi for like fucking 30
A very
years,
long time.
very long time. She's very slow at counting, doing everything. It made the matches feel longer.
So Azumi has collectively had the high speed championship for over 300 days. She's on the middle of her second reign. She's had 8 defenses.
There you go. Probably gonna keep this title. I don't know. What do you think? She gonna lose to Hikari here?
I don't think she's losing it to Hikari unless she is the next one for the going after the World of Stardom Championship or Wonder of Stardom Championship, which I don't think they're gonna do that with her just yet.
I feel if they're gonna beat Azumi, they're gonna give it to like a younger wrestler, who can use the win over her a lot more. Special singles match. I like the stipulations for this match. Kairi, the current IWGP Women's Champion, taking on the she was a supernova rookie, but she might be again, Utami Hayashishita. And what are the stipulations for this match, Karen?
Because this is a non-IWGP Women's Championship match, because that match was already solidified in the minutes before Utami approached Kairi backstage at Historic Crossover, the stipulations are the loser goes back to square one, their debut costume, no entrance music, possibly their original haircut. Like, they get stripped down to their rookie look, and that's what they have to work their way back up from.
I was at her debut match. Utami, not Kairi.
Not Kairi's.
Not Kairi's. I wish
Yeah.
I followed Kairi from the start.
Same.
No, Utami. Yeah, I was at her debut match. So for me, it'd be like, wow, Natsukashi.
Natsukashi, yeah, it's very nostalgic.
Nostalgic.
Well, and that's the thing about Utami. She's been World of Stardom champion. She has, 5-star rated matches. She's done everything in Stardom. Much like when Julia lost her hair to Tam at All-Star Dream Cinderella the year before last. This could be a fun way to reset Utami. The only thing that worries me is that she would lose her role as leader of Queen's Quest. Because if you're going to be a rookie, you can't be the leader of a faction.
Well, that's where, Saya steps in. I think Saya would take over more than Azumi.
Azumi should be the leader, but that's a whole different story.
Yeah. Or they can just dissolve Queen's Quest. I would not be sad to.
They'd have to get rid of Oedo Tai first.
They should, honestly, again, factions that have stayed long past their due date.
Stars.
The names, at least. You can keep the faction, but that's not Oedo Tai to me. Yeah. Like Oedo Tai had Kagetsu in it. Had Hana in it.
Kyoko Kimura.
So no, it had the dance. I missed the dance.
I missed the dance too.
So that's not Oedo Tai. This is not really Queen's. I honestly feel when Momo left, that was it.
Yeah.
It should have ended right there, because like if you don't have Io, okay. Momo is the leader, that's fine. Momo's gone, so
Hazuki could always come back.
I think you can create some new factions. I really think like the Stardom draft.
Yeah.
I don't think you can do the Stardom draft because you can't do it every year, and it's kind of forcing like alliances. Whereas like it can work. Like I think the last time they did, I thought it worked really well. But I'd rather see more natural, organic formations of factions and alliances in wrestling companies. But yeah, there you go. I think Utami's go back to her original look. You know what? If she does go back to being a rookie again, her rookie look and stuff, who can make the return based on that would be one Jungle Kiona.
Oh, Kiona.
Because she was Utami's debut opponent. And she's and like Jungle Kiona's never beaten Utami.
I wish they'd bring her back, but I think I don't know how many more dates she has in the US though before, because like Kiona's on that, like, she's doing like a 3-month or 4-month stint here in the US.
Yeah,
right now.
I mean, she's ready. Like, if they say, yeah, you come back, we'll bring you back in spring to like do a big angle with Utami.
That'd be great.
It'd be natural. I feel it'd be natural. Goddesses #1 contendership 3-way tag match, Maika and Himeka versus Mirai and Ami Sarai versus Natsuko Tora and Ruaka. Micah and Himeka?
As long as Ami keeps the future belt, yeah, it's gonna be Micah and Himeka.
Trios match, Mayu Iwatani. You gotta somehow fit Mayu on this card, right?
Of course.
Mayu and Hanan and Momokogo taking on Hazuki, Koguma, and Saida. Stars versus Stars here.
This is
Versus...
supposed to be like a teaser for the Triangle Derby that starts in January.
And sorry, and tag match. I think this is the opener. Mina Shirakawa and Unagi Sayaka taking on the DDM combination of Tekla and Mai Sakurai. And then the pre-show is the Stardom Rumble.
But like most of the people are already on the card, so either it's going to be a short Rumble or people are pulling double duty on this card.
Or you just don't fucking need it.
Well, yes, there's that too.
Oh, Bushiroad and their dumb tropes. But anyways, let's move on. Speaking of Bushiroad, we're going to end the show talking about New Japan Pro Wrestling. Let's look at some of their titles. I didn't go over like how many defenses because I don't think it's that important. For the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team titles, Hiroki Goto, Yoshihashi, 95 days. Then they lose to Great O'Khan and Jeff Cobb, who only held them for 22 days. I don't understand because the team that beat them is Bad Match Fale and fucking Chase Owens, who then lose it back to Great O'Khan and Jeff Cobb. Why? Why did you do this? Like,
I feel like Fale and Chase's win was at Dontaku, which is like Bullet Club Day or Bullet Club Fiesta Day.
That's fucking stupid.
That's the only thing I can think of. If I'm remembering the timeline properly.
Stupid reason if that's why. Oh, we gotta have Bullet Club win. No. Fucking push O'Khan and Cobb as a tag team. Fuck, they're getting over. They're actually a really good fucking tag team.
They are.
They do double team moves and have good chemistry with one another.
And they have matching gear. You know how I love matching gear.
And you put it for fucking Fale and fucking Chase Owens? Two of the shittiest fucking wrestlers in the fucking world? Because it's Bullet Club Day in Osaka? Fuck you, Ghetto.
Yeah, I if I'm remembering correctly, they won at Dontaku.
Yeah, I think you're right. I'm pretty sure you're right. Great O'Khan and Jeff Cobb with the titles back. Only hold them for 2 weeks because then they lose them at fucking Forbidden Door. Yeah, to fucking FTR. No offense to FTR, but FTR should not be the IWGP Tag Team Champions because since June 26th, it's now December, Karen, they've only had 2 defenses. Once in London, at a show you missed, unfortunately, but you got to go to Japan, so I think you get the better end of the deal there.
Sure did.
And once in Osaka, which you went to that show? Did you go to that show in Osaka?
No, I went to the Stardom. I went to Gold Rush in Osaka.
Okay. All right. I think that's probably a better choice too.
It was a good show.
FTR, who are not even fucking featured regularly in their home promotion of All Wrestling because Tony Khan has fucking attention deficit disorder, I think. And he's forgotten that he has the team that has held, like, that should be their AW World Tag Team Champions, but they're not. Because that company's tag team scene is fucked as far as the booking goes. But anyways, that's a thing where tag team titles should be used to elevate people on the undercard, but they're used in little dumb political games between promotions and to make people feel Bullet Club fans feel nice in Osaka. Dumb reasons.
Fukuoka.
U.S. title. The U.S. title in Fukuoka was in Fukuoka.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Dontaku was in Fukuoka.
So it was Dominion. No,
Dontaku.
It was at Dontaku in Fukuoka that they won. Okay,
correct. Dominion's in Osaka.
Yeah.
Oh, Dominion.
U.S. title. Tanahashi, 13 days in 2022 before losing it to Juice Robinson, who's only held it for 28 days. Did Juice get injured? I forget. More accurately, I don't care what happens.
No, Juice got sick and had to vacate it. But before that, Sonata had it.
I missed Sonata.
Tanahashi beat Kenta Sonata beat
Right.
Tanahashi, then got hurt and had to vacate. Then Tanahashi got it back. Then it was Juice, then Ospreay.
And now the current champion since June 12th, 4 defenses, doing really well with the belt.
Yeah, he's given it stability, and that's the one thing I always wanted
You
for that
know,
stupid
with
belt.
different opponents too. He had you know, I can't believe I'm saying this. Like he had an enjoyable match with Orange Cassidy at Forbidden Door.
Yeah.
So and he will be defending this title against Kenny Omega, the returning Kenny Omega, in the real main event of Wrestle Kingdom. Sorry, Okada. Like I wish I could say you're the main event, but you're not because of who you're facing in the main event of Wrestle Kingdom this coming January. Yeah, I think you know like one thing with Ospreay is like he has been having a hell of a year in ring, and he is really elevated himself with that belt and has elevated that belt. And I hate saying that because I hate that belt. I hate that title. It's such a superfluous title. It should not exist. It should be the IC title, in my opinion.
Oh, remember the IC title, WH? That
Yes, I
beautiful,
do.
beautiful build.
Yeah,
Good times.
those were the good. Well, yeah, those were still the good times before.
Good times.
Anyways, IWGP Women's Title, Kyrie since November 20th, the only champion. I have my feelings about this title, and like a lot of them, unfortunately, seem to be coming true. Where Bushiroad are starting to treat Stardom as its women's division, which no, please don't do that.
Yes, correct.
Anyways, the Never title. Oh, I cannot think of a better example outside of the IWGP Heavyweight title of how bad the booking is in this company. So first we have Evil, who held the belt for 117 days. Then in you know in a storyline that I thought you know okay for in storyline wise, this made a lot of sense. And Tama Tonga wins. I his first really major singles belt in this company, right? And Tama Tonga only holds it for 42 days before losing it to WWE mid card jobber, and that's what he is. He's a WWE mid card jobber on Raw. Carl Anderson is the never openweight champion, a title that has had a lot of prestige associated with it when held by people like Tomohiro Ishii, when held by Katsuyori Shibata, when held by tons of other people.
Even Shingo Takagi and Tanahashi elevated it. Kenta elevated it.
Now it's held by a WWE mid card jobber that New Japan inexplicably has booked, even though they know he was going back to WWE. Because I feel the New Japanners are marks for the WWE inexplicably. Anyways, hopefully this gets resolved at Wrestle Kingdom. I think it will. I think you know.
I need the chapter to be closed. I need that belt to come back.
Carl's getting his you know Saudi Arabia blood money to buy a new pool for his family. Good for him. New Japan, you don't need to book this fucking guy anymore. Anyways, you know, Carl unfortunately is also like one of these like fucking guys on Twitter who like vanity searches and then he'll passive aggressively like tweets that criticize him. Like Chase Owens, who's also a fucking loser in that regard as well. IWGP World Heavyweight title. A terribly booked title. I'm going to say this, Karen. It's a terribly booked title. Kazuchika Okada, first champion, won on January 4th, this past Wrestle Kingdom. 159 days, 4 defenses. He beat Shingo Takagi, which was mistake number 1. Shingo Takagi should have kept that belt. He should still be the champion, in my opinion.
That'd be nice.
And then Okada loses the belt to Jay White, who won on June 12th. And Karen, guess how many defenses? You know, June, July, August, September, November. No, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. 7 months. He's had two defenses. One was at Forbidden Door in a 4-way match.
Ugh.
And the other was against Tama Tonga. Because you know, we have to have the Bullet Club Civil War, Karen. So this is
I need the Bullet Club Civil War to just stop.
No, Bullet Club has to go away.
I need it to be over. Like
why
over. Let me people do new things.
Why is Jay White the IWGP champion. He was a shit champion the first time he held the fucking title. He's a shit champion now. He is the most like unused champion in the history of this company, possibly. I do not know a champion who's had such a lame duck title reign. You could have built. I know the idea is like Kazuchika Okada, we want him to be the champion in our 50th year anniversary for New Japan. I get that. But honestly, you could have built an amazing storyline if Shingo Takagi beat him last year.
Yeah.
At this year's Wrestle Kingdom, and you built it up that Okada had to jump through hoop after hoop after hoop to get another shot at Takagi at this coming Wrestle Kingdom. Can you imagine? And Shingo, honestly one of the best champions in the last 3 years. He brought a lot of stability to that belt.
He put the company on his back when everyone was either injured or sick or,
And he's not even on the show. He's not even on Wrestle Kingdom. In fact, he's going to go back. Not permanently, but he's going to do the big Dragon Gate show. I think it's on the 29th.
Is it 29th? Like I thought he was doing it on Christmas Day.
Oh, it could be. Yeah, it could be this weekend. I forget exactly. And we're not covering Dragon Gate on this show. Sorry. But Shingo Takagi is going to team with BB Hulk, his former rival, former New Hazard tag team partner. And instead of being on Wrestle Kingdom, where he main evented last year. Crazy.
It makes me sad because it's like he's going to wind up in the King of Pro Wrestling Rambo that opens the show when he closed night 1.
If I was him, I'd just say I'm not showing up for this show. I'm taking it off. If you're not going to put me on the main card in a prominent tag or a singles match, I'm not coming to work. Fuck you. I would tell them to fuck off.
I just feel like Jay didn't. I mean, he didn't need to have the belt the second half of the year. Like he could have had a couple of defenses, sure, no problem. But it just
that's I don't think Okada needed the belt this year. I think you could have had a better storyline if Shingo Takagi held the belt. Like if you established him as like this monster, like outsider, because he's not New Japan Troopborn. He's from Dragon Gate.
Yeah,
even though everyone does consider him a New Japan wrestler. Like you can always have that idea that he's not a Troopborn.
Yeah.
Like it'd be interesting because Okada's now did come through the dojo system, but he came through via Ultimo Dragon. Who's also, like anyways in the, Dragon Gate Out of the Ashes of Toryumon, which is created by Ultimo Dragon. Anyways, this Jay White, I really hope Jay White learns his lesson from the way he's been booked this year. Because I have always said Jay White could be an amazing American television wrestler. I think he could be a big star I think he could be a big star in the WWE, especially now.
Absolutely.
Because I think he's one of the better promos in an American setting. He's a terrible promo in a Japanese setting. And why is he still making fun of people for not being able to clap? It's so fucking stupid. That he uses this as part of his heel shtick. You can't clap. I'm making fun of all the clap crowds. It's no one can clap, fuckhead. I don't know if this is like a directive from Ghetto or if it's his own idea. If it's his own idea, it's completely stupid and inane.
Yeah, well, Ghetto's been wearing Jay White's merch since he left Chaos and joined him. So it's I don't know. Part of me feels like Jay keeps the belt for long periods of time just so Ghetto has something to do.
Yeah, that's the problem when your booker is also a performer. Also see Dick Togo. Anyways, we're gonna get into Wrestle Kingdom quick second, but G1 winner this year, Kazuchika Okada, and actually quite for the most part enjoyable G1. I watched maybe 50% of it when I had the time, but I enjoyed it, and
I watched the whole thing.
and Okada had a very good G1, and he defeated Will Ospreay to win it, and we win in a great match. And there you go. Anyways, let's talk about Wrestle Kingdom to end the show. Okay, let's do a quick preview. It's happening, of course, January 4th at the Tokyo Dome. This would be the one show I would not go with you because I have vowed never to go to Wrestle Kingdom and ever see a show at Tokyo Dome ever again. I just don't like the building. Honestly, I just think it's not a good building.
It's very drafty and it's very big. And if you're like, I noticed that sitting on the floor, if you're on the floor near the back, you can't really see anything.
I had one good in the elevated section because we were near the front. Me, John, and Wade were near the front on the first night of 2020, and it was really good. We could see pretty clearly, even though we were still far away.
Yeah.
But they were good seats. We were in the Japanese section.
Ooh.
Night 2 wasn't not as good, unfortunately, because we were in the Gaikokujin section
Yeah.
with a lot of loud mouths.
Yeah. If
Anyways,
you go to Japan, don't man spread. The seats are very
also
narrow
don't
and it gets very
don't.
uncomfortable.
No one wants to hear your stupid fucking color commentary.
Nobody wants to hear the commentary. Nobody wants to hear the jokes. Your jokes are not as funny as you think they are.
Um,
Clean up after
especially
yourself. If you spill something, clean it up. If you have
especially other
garbage, clean it
foreigners
up.
who live there. Like I like polite Japanese crowds. You
Yeah.
know. Anyways, Karen, honestly, like I'm never going. Like I just feel like doing something. I probably just go to Siberia by myself and then have a drink with you afterwards. But let's talk about the card. It's
Let's go.
actually honestly, it's not a bad looking card. Like I'm hoping to watch this and possibly do a review of it with John Pollock. Maybe
Ooh.
I'm in negotiations with
I
with
will be
with uh
writing I will be doing the written report for the site on this very show.
with uh with Mr. Joe Poe. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Keep
Aw.
people updated
Happy
on
New
that.
Year's with Jopo.
Uh
Yay.
Pre-show match, the Antonio Inoki Memorial 6-man tag match. Yuji Nagata, Satoshi Kojima, Togi Makabe taking on Tiger Mask 4, not the original Tiger Mask. I don't like that they don't include the 4 because to some people I think it's Satoru Sayama. It's not. It's the
Yeah,
fourth
no. It,
incarnation.
it, it is the current incarnation of Tiger Mask.
That's right. Minoru Suzuki and Tatsumi Fujinami. Nagata is an Inoki guy in terms of like, his background, his character.
Yeah.
Fujinami is his direct disciple.
Yeah.
No one
I'm
else really has that strong of a connection to Inoki in
I'm
this
leaning
match.
towards Fujinami only because it's the memorial match
Um,
and the conclusion of the 50th anniversary.
yeah, I figured Fujinami's gonna beat Makabe
Yep,
with the Dragon Sleeper.
probably.
There you go.
You forgot the King of Pro Wrestling Rumble and
No, I
the
didn't.
exhibition match.
I'm always trying to forget that. That exists, Karen. Yes, that's happening. Whatever. I don't care. Listen,
There's the
it's
Oleg
just
Boltin exhibition 3-minute match against Ryohei Oiwa.
I pretty much am just
Is it
going
Oiwa or
from
It's Fujito? One of the two.
I'm pretty much just going from the main show. I'm not really concerned myself with the
Gotcha.
pre-show. Sorry, but you talked about it, so it's covered.
That's all you really needed.
IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championship match. Unbelievable. It's a straight 2 versus 2. Incredible. I've had to endure so many 3-ways and 4-ways for this title at this show.
Yep.
But yeah, Leo Rush and the winners of the Junior Tag League. They're gonna hopefully have matching gear for Karen.
Yes. I hope that they read all of my reports and be like, you know what? Lee Li Yo YOH, because that should be their tag name, Leo. Yes, matching gear, please and thank you.
They probably do. I think you're very influential over
Oh
at
yes.
Bushi Road.
I am not.
Affiliated.
I don't work there. I have no sway
No,
whatsoever.
they're like, oh my god, she covers it for Post Wrestling. We all love Post Wrestling except for that WH guy. Anyways, they're taking on the current Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champions of Francesco Akira, the good Italian boy, and TJ Perkins.
Who have very nice matching gear, by the way.
Yeah, everyone in United Empire has matching gear, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know who's gonna win this. What do you think, Karen?
I really don't want to see Yo in another IWGP tag championship scenario right now. Because he's held the belt 5 times already, but they're really, really high on Leo Rush. But I could genuinely see them trying to put over I don't know. They might put the belt on them.
You know what? At the very least, we're probably gonna get a very enjoyable match.
It'll be a good match regardless, but like
A good like
there's benefits and negatives for them retaining or keeping it or winning
a,
it. It's just
a nice little sub 15-minute match, which is fine.
yes.
IWGP Women's Championship match. Kairi, the defending champion, will take on Tam Nakano. I feel Kairi is gonna win, and then
Yes.
someone who's played a Mandalorian on the Mandalorian TV show will show
Yes.
up and challenge Kairi for maybe what's the next other big show? That's not New Year's Dash.
There is the January 21st Wrestle Kingdom 17 in Yokohama Arena, which is the same weekend as the match where Muto will wrestle with Sting and Darby Allin. So there's that show in Japan. The rumor mill says that it could be in San Jose, California at Battle in the Valley on February 18th. I feel like a bigger venue for this potential individual would be a show in Japan.
Hmm.
I don't think they would fly her to Japan to set up a match in the United States.
No, I feel she wants to have a match in Japan too, if it's
Um,
who we think it is.
yeah, I don't know. I would love it to be like if not a show in Tokyo area, an Osaka show, but I don't know what the next big show in Osaka or Hiroshima is going to be.
I'm thinking it's going to be
There's
Yokohama.
there's New Beginning, which is usually at the end of January, beginning of February. But then there's Fantastica Mania in the middle of February. So
I think it's probably going to be the
Yokohama show.
the Yokohama Wrestle Kingdom branded
Yeah.
show.
I really wish with that much of a space between actual Wrestle Kingdom Day and that show that there was a different name for it. I don't know why they're keeping the Wrestle Kingdom branding when it's not the same week.
It's New Japan. IWGP Tag Team Championship match. FTR taking on the team that should win. It's Hiroki Goto and Yoshihashi Bishamon.
To take a page out of my UK friends, it's coming home. It's coming home to Bishamon.
There you go. I think so.
I need it to come home. I missed that tag title.
I think they do too, and I think they're probably going to get the belts back, and I think it should be a very very good match. FTRs have been having a really good year.
They have great matches.
This
I just
year.
don't like when belts are held hostage.
No, the tournament final for the television dinner championship. Sorry, the NWJ New Japan World TV Championship tournament final. This should be a great match. Zack Sabre Jr. taking on who I think should win the belt, not Zach. It should be Ren Narita, and to get the push that he should be getting to kind of like signal the start of a new era, with him and Shota Umino leading it, and then bring back Yuya Uemura and bring back Yota Tsuji, who's been doing a lot of topes and planchas over in Mexico recently.
Yes.
So I just hope they don't get saddled with a stupid character, Karen. Kawato was so promptly just come back as Kawato, and then they turned him into a fucking character from fucking an Ong Lee movie from 2003 or something.
Yeah, the Yuya doesn't really have a character here in the States. He's just doing a lot of wrestling and Impact of all places. But Tsuji he was doing well in the UK and then just decided to go off to Mexico finally and fulfill his dream of going to Mexico.
I hear I have fans in the Impact Wrestling locker room.
You do? Well, congratulations.
Apparently. I've heard that. I don't know. So I've been told.
Someone's spreading the good word of WH Park.
So no, like it was told to me by Wei Ting that yeah, this. Anyways.
But yeah, it's one of those things where Zach doesn't need this TV championship. The son of Strong Style, Ren Narita, who should have had a run with the Strong Openweight Championship, he needs this. He needs to do something.
Well, I would say this title needs him.
Well, yes, that too.
To get established really strongly.
Yes.
It would. I think Ren Narita is I think Zack Sabre Jr. should be primed for honestly a main event role this year. To be honest with you.
So. He's taken a back seat for too long. He's won the New Japan Cup a couple times and not been able to do it, and they won't let him win the G1 for some reason. So yes, Zach needs to be. If they're gonna put the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship on a foreigner that is not Jay White in 2023, it needs to be on Zack Sabre Jr.
I think so. Yeah.
He's done his time. He's earned it.
We already talked about this match basically before. Never Openweight Championship match.
I sadly have no interest in it.
WWE Jobber versus New Japan Mid Carter for life. Whatever. Keiji Muto, last match in New Japan. Keiji Muto teams with his protege, Hiroshi Tanahashi. Teams with the next Tanahashi, it seems, Shota Umino. And they're taking on the LIJ combination of Tetsuya Naito, Sonata, and Bushi. And I'm thinking Bushi is going to do the honors for the guy who helps train, who started him in wrestling, in All Japan Pro Wrestling, and that's Keiji Muto. I think Keiji Muto is going to go against the wishes of his doctor and bust out one last moonsault.
Probably.
At the very least, he's gonna hit the poor little fucking Bushi with at least 2 shining wizards. So and get pinned by Keiji Muto, which I bet you like Sonata and Bushi are like, no, let me get pinned by him. No, I'm gonna get pinned by him. No, I'm gonna get pinned by him.
See, a part of me really wants Sonata to pin Keiji Muto, but I know that won't happen because Sonata doesn't get nice things in New Japan.
No,
he deserves them. He just doesn't get them.
Muto's gonna get the win, and it's gonna be over. Who can eat the pin from Bushi? And I'm sure Bushi's like, yeah, fuck yeah. In his last match,
LIJ doesn't need the win on this one. Like they don't need to pin Shota Umino. There would be no point to that.
So Karen, I talked about how it's so nice not to see a 4-way or 3-way match for the junior heavyweight tag team title matches, tag team titles. Well, that's okay because they saved that for the actual junior heavyweight singles title match.
Yep, sure did.
Champion Taiji Ishimori will face Hiromu Takahashi, El Desperado, and Master Wato. I'm thinking Master Wato gets the fucking belt finally.
I think you are right. That's what my gut is telling me because this belt has, for the greater part of the last 4 years, has circulated between the 3 of them. Ishimori, Takahashi, and Desperado. Yes, Robbie Eagles has had it. Yes, Will Ospreay has had it. Yes, other people have had it. But by and large, it's been those 3. Despy and Takahashi and Hiromu could easily go heavyweight. They should be in the Never division. They should have the Never Openweight Championship match on this card, but that's a different story. But yeah, I feel like they're gonna finally, if they're gonna start pulling the trigger on new people. I never thought I'd say that Master Wato was gonna get the belt before Show or Yo, but here we are. So it's probably going to be Master Wato's going to be squeaking out that ever elusive, unbelievable win, but he may not necessarily pin Ishimori to get it. That's what I'm thinking.
Right.
But Ishimori doesn't need to be protected either.
He doesn't.
He's fine.
Honestly, like this should be Hiromu and Despy's swan song to the junior division. They should go heavyweight. It wouldn't take much. I think they're both of a size that they could just, kayfabe. Oh, we adding some extra pounds, especially Desperado. He can be a heavyweight. He's got the charisma for it.
The semifinals of the New Japan Cup 2 years ago. Where he lost to Okada. So it's one of those like, it's believable that Hiromu can fight open weight or heavyweight. Same thing with Despy.
All right, and our double main event time, Karen. The first of 2 double main events. One double main event. Will Ospreay versus Kenny Omega for the U.S. title, and a match that I predicted. Then they announced it, and I took my victory lap. On your left, everyone. I said they're building towards Will Ospreay, Kenny Omega for Wrestle Kingdom. They're not going to do an AEW. They're going to do it in New Japan because it's AEW's make good to New Japan for New Japan losing basically nearly every fucking match at Forbidden Door. And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense at all. Oh, unless they're getting fucking Kenny Omega at Wrestle Kingdom, and they are, and then they did all the stuff with Aussie Open Ospreay versus the Elite in the 6-man tag tournament. That didn't make any sense either, unless they're building to Omega versus Ospreay, and it has to be at Wrestle Kingdom. It will mean more there. It will mean more in Japan than it will in America. and it's happening. And honestly, I think it's, Japan has lifted restrictions for tourists. I've heard a lot of people are going to go. This is equivalent to when Omega faced Jericho at Wrestle Kingdom several years ago. I think this match is probably like the incentive to get people to travel to Japan, to spend money, which Japan's economy desperately needs. They need to restart tourism full blown back there. The yen's in terrible shape,
Yep.
and because one of Japan's biggest economies, I'd say it's probably in the top three of their economies. Of like what drives their economy is tourism. So, and the COVID has really,
Done a
really,
number on it.
really hurt them a lot. So, New Japan wants their foreign fans to come back for Wrestle Kingdom, and they said to, I'm sure they said to Tony, "Hey, we'll give you Forbidden Door. We'll let you win most of Forbidden Door. We want Omega." And I bet you it wasn't that hard to convince Kenny to go back. I'm he's like, "Fuck yeah, I'll go back there."
Yeah.
So I don't think it's permanent. I don't think he's giving up. Getting into fights and saving dogs from injury to go back to New Japan Pro Wrestling. And finally,
my only concern about that match is the 60-minute time limit. I feel like if I haven't made breakfast by this point, this will be the match I will have on in like 2 rooms.
Yeah,
because I'm gonna need to eat something because it's knowing the two of them, they're probably gonna go. They're not gonna go hard for like 20 minutes and call it a day. They're gonna go for at least 30 to 35 minutes, if not try to get close to that 60.
well, Karen, the 17 and Wrestle Kingdom 17 doesn't just refer to, what number of Wrestle Kingdom it is.
Number of matches and number of hours. Come on.
Yes, no,
17 hours of Wrestle
17,
Kingdom.
This is going to be a 17-hour show. You just, get your diapers on and, hey, actually there's several. Well, there is actually at least one good piss match here. And that's, Jobber versus Mid-Carter for the Never title. Anyways, finally, Jay White versus Okada. Who cares? It should be Shingo versus Okada. Shingo defending the title, and Okada should be winning the title from Shingo finally at the show, but it's not happening. We talked about it before. Anyways, I'm hoping to. Honestly, I think it'll be a good show. The IWGP Heavyweight title is probably, along with the Never title, the least interesting matches to me, because I do not think Jay White and Okada have good chemistry. I've never been a fan of like this counter move style of Jay White in main event matches. It does nothing for me. And he's the first 10 to 15 minutes.
We've seen this match ever since Jay's joined Bullet Club. We've seen him face Okada multiple times. So for me, it doesn't.
He's one of Okada's
I saw it
worst opponents.
Garden. I'm not excited about it. I know I should be, but I'm just not.
It's also how Jay's been booked. To be fair to him, it's also how he's been booked as a champion. He's not been booked as a champion. He's just been booked as an afterthought. I don't know why. You would think they want to give them, the match that's going to go on last, like a lot of oomph to it by making the defending champion against the challenger who everybody wants to see win the title. I think everyone wants Okada to win the title, not because they don't like Jay, it's because they don't think much of Jay as a champion, because New Japan does not book him well as.
I'm just surprised he's had so few championship defenses.
Yeah, it's really bizarre that they haven't given him more defenses. Like, there's a lot of people he can beat that he's beaten before. He can beat again.
He's been doing plenty of the strong shows, but when he was never a champion, he was defending that never open weight championship on every single New Japan Strong every single month. It's like I feel like they've been holding on to him as champion just to defend on New Japan in Japan shows and or the occasional US show, but it's not even that.
Anyways, Okada's winning this belt.
Yep.
I'm hoping Jay just says, you know what, my contract's coming up. I'm going to America. I think he should go, because I think this title reign should just tell him, like, they've got nothing interesting for you. You're never gonna become a bigger star in this company. You need to go. And I think his ultimate goal is to go to an American, either AEW or the WWE. And I think if it were me, if I'm looking at the current landscape of the companies, like,
There's
go to
also like
WWE.
with Jay, he's already been the IWGP Heavyweight Champion twice. So it's like he's been the world champion and then the heavyweight champion, but like what else is there for him to do now?
He's won all the
He's
singles titles.
he's a Grand Slam champion. Are they gonna put him in
Yeah.
the tag division? No, they're not putting the tag
No,
division.
they don't put stars in
They're
the
not gonna
tag
put they're
division.
not gonna put they're not gonna put the Never Championship back on him. So it's like, what is left for him to do? Like,
Nothing. I mean, if I'm him, like honestly, like, and I don't say this because I think
or they
I
turn him
don't
face, which they're not gonna do. So
I don't think he wants to be a face in that company.
yeah,
You know, like I think he wants to be a main event heel in a company where he has the potential to make millions of dollars.
yeah.
And that's either AEW, but more likely it's WWE. Like, and I see with the current regime, like even before McMahon like got ousted because he's a creepy predator.
He's a sex pest.
Before he left, like I think if he got in during Vince run WWE, Vince would take one look at him and like potentially just say, "Fuck yeah, you're what I like." Triple H it's got to be on Triple H's radar of like someone he wants to get into
Well,
WWE.
Finn Balor was one of the guys that got him into wrestling, so it's one of those
Oh
things
yeah, for
where
sure.
it's people know who he is. He's got friends in the industry or in that company, so it's like I just feel like it's a matter of time because especially if New Japan doesn't have anything for him. Why? I mean, why would you go to Japan for months at a time when you can be at home theoretically every week?
Yeah,
Sorry, my
and
hair's being silly.
a lot of things are different now. Like he's married now, right?
Yep, he's got a beautiful wife and they've got a farm, it seems. Like they're just living
So
their best country lifestyle. Like
why travel overseas with like like
and leaving your wife
13
your hot wife at home.
when it's just you're traveling, like I mean not that working for the WWE is easier in terms of travel. It's
Nope.
sometimes one could say it's harder, but you're in the same country as where you live.
You can theoretically get home within 6 hours.
Yeah, so we'll see. I do think this is a year if we see Jay White leaving New Japan. I'm not going to be surprised.
I think he's done everything he can do, unless he
Yeah,
just wants to be comfortable and collect a paycheck, but I don't think he's still under 30 if I'm or he's either at 30 or just under 30. So it's like
yeah.
he's not at an age where he didn't needs to be clocked out so much. I feel like he has a lot of good wrestling and a lot of great stories left to tell. I just don't think they're in New Japan.
No, I think he's gonna want challenges of like, I want to face new people. I want to face people who
I want to see him face new people.
elevate my game. Like, go to WWE. He can like fuck Roman, Kevin Owens, Finn Balor if he wants to, AJ
Let
Styles,
him fight Shinsuke.
Shinsuke, like tons of people.
Yeah.
There's tons of people that
There's
he could
plenty
face.
of people.
So with that being said, Karen,
Yes, my dear.
we'll wrap it up and great show. Thank you so much. It's our wrap up of the year, our Bonenkai.
Our Bonenkai, forgetting the year.
Yeah. Um any
Have you ever explained the concept of a Bonenkai on your on pro?
I think I have. I think maybe on Japanese audio wrestling when I was living in Japan.
Okay.
Because I went to many Bonenkais.
Yes.
You know what I call Bonenkai
Same.
season? I call it
kiss your liver goodbye season.
No, I call it
drinking parties.
No, I call it piss and puke season.
That's fair because for those who don't know, the Bonenkai is the end of the year, like kind of like your holiday party that you would have, but it's basically just like a drinking party with your colleagues or your friends. But there's not only just one party, there's usually an after party and then an after party to the after party. And there's like depending on social groups, places you work, you're not just having
Usually
one.
me?
You're not just having one.
No, Sanjikai.
Sanjikai, baby.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're
That
you're
means
like
a
a
third
ramen
party.
shop at 3:00 in the morning waiting for the train.
I would start at 7 with the first party, the main
Yep.
party. Then we're going to karaoke.
Yep. Usually by 9:30.
Yeah, sometimes usually 10. We're usually at the first party for a while. Like, and this is with my friends, not even work party.
Oh yeah, no
This
work
is-
parties. We do the Irish exit around 9:30.
Then karaoke, or sometimes karaoke was a third party until like 5 a.m. So
Yeah.
we start at 1, go to 5, but like the second party was like another 3 hours. or just
Yeah,
drinking and
I
eating
always ended
more?
up with the math and the PE teacher, so we were always at a snack bar with, some
No,
mama-san pouring
I
whiskey. They always tried to get me a job. They're like, "Do you wanna work here?" I'm like, No, thank you.
no,
I
for
have a
me, because
job."
I'm going out with my first job, I'm going out with my students, who are all adults usually, by the
See, my
way.
students were high school students. I don't go out with my
So
students.
and my coworkers we're all adults, so we're all like, "Let's go to the second party, we're just drinking more." And they all
Yeah.
love to drink. All my students love to drink because 'cause they're all adults. And then they became my friends when I got a new job. So I'm still having, you know you know, nomikais with them,
Yeah.
you know? A drinking party. Nomi means drinking, kai
Yes.
means party, nomikai. Excuse me, hold on. Um, so yeah, Bonin Kai is the end of the year party where people get, and I call it puke and piss season, not because I'm puking or pissing that much, but because when I'm going home from the train, like, and I'm walking past the train station, usually there's an inordinate amount of men
Yeah.
puking along the wall or pissing on it,
Yep.
and I'm trying to avoid both.
Yep. It's
So
not a good look. Like, I mean, I guess the closest that wrestling fans would equate that to is last year's King of Pro Wrestling match between Okada, Yano, and Kanemaru, where they
yeah,
had to like do a shot and go wrestle for a few minutes, then like go back and do another shot. And it's not, you don't normally do shots in Japan.
no,
Usually it's more just like you're drinking whiskey, you're drinking beer, you're just like, but it's more like you're sitting around or you're at a karaoke box or whatever. And then you have like the New Year's party is basically the Shinenkai is the same thing. New
by the
Year,
way, most Japanese people do not drink strong zero.
no,
You know,
no,
at a nomikai,
no.
it's
That's
either
usually like
beer
it's
or a highball.
yeah, strong zeros
So
are like you're on the train home or you're on the train going somewhere or you're trying to pregame before going somewhere,
yeah,
but
but most people I knew, like Japanese people, do not drink strong. Like sometimes yes, but usually it's just beer.
yeah,
Like the foreigners who like strong, it's because you can get drunk for really cheap.
yeah.
That's the only appeal of, like, because they taste like shit to me at
Yeah,
least.
I like other chew highs, like strong zeros. But also I like, I'm older now, so it's like I drink too much, I have a hangover, it sucks. And it lasts for like 3 days. But it's one of those things where with those, kind of drinks, I prefer to one, I don't like very much fruity drinks when I'm over in Japan for some reason. I prefer having your whiskeys and your beers and sake, like nothing that has I don't need fruity drinks.
No,
They're not my jam.
so I'm
I'll
a
have
big
my
fan
melon
of.
soda, but that's not while I'm at a nomikai. That's like 3 o'clock cafe time.
Yeah, I usually stick with beer. That's usually my drink of choice. So, anyways, it's the end of the year. Karen, like when I next time I talk to you, it'll be 2023. So happy New Year,
Oh my god, yeah, yeah. Happy New Year to you too.
happy
Th-
holidays, whatever you
Happy
celebrate.
holidays.
I have famously declared my hatred of Christmas on MCU later, and I believe our Christmas show. So people will already know I don't have to talk about it. But hey, if you celebrate it, awesome. I hope everyone has a great time. Drink safe. Don't drink and drive. Be safe this year.
Call a ride share or stay where you're at.
Yeah.
Don't try
And
walking home if you're not feeling safe either.
exactly. And it's going to be snowy in Toronto. We're going to get a white Christmas, I think. So great
Aw.
for everyone who celebrates and all the kids waking up to that. If you have kids and they want a white Christmas, I think you're going to be in luck if you're living in the northeast of North America. But until then, thank you, Karen. I like you're probably going to be on the show a lot more next year as well.
Oh, really? Do you know
Probably.
something that I don't?
No, just it's just yeah. We can. We try to get John on the show.
I
John tries
love the
to be on
post
the show.
Puroresu. John works too hard. He does too many things. He needs to take
John's
care
very
of
busy man,
himself.
but when he wants to, he really wanted to do the show. He sends his apologies to the listeners. But hey, again, Karen is not like a second choice. Karen is always a great choice to have on the show.
I'm the in case of emergency break glass. That's me.
No,
That's
but
me.
it's also like, if I want insight into the scene, there's like maybe 3 people I want to talk to, and Karen is like in that group. So
Yay!
anyways, of course you'll be on MCU later this year. This coming year.
Oh,
We're really busy. So we're gonna have a lot of things to cover.
let me know.
We
I need. I love me some MCU later.
Yeah, but with that being said, we should wrap this up. Thanks to everyone. Listen, before we go, Karen, I gotta thank some people.
Do it. Thank all
Sorry,
the people.
I gotta thank people who have bought the new Long and Winding Road 5 Pillars T-shirt that we have on sale at store.postwrestling.com. Uh, I'm gonna apologize ahead of time for people whose names I mispronounce. So first, Melissa Hinson, Rua Ru Arita Galud. That's the one I was worried about. I apologize. I probably butchered your name, but thank you for buying the shirt. Warren Illis, Emily Jones, Dustin Meyer, Brandon from New Jersey, Kimberly Gilpatrick, John McKerchar, Robert Goodwin, and Harris Haslan. I hope I said your name right, but thank you everyone who bought the shirt so far. It's doing really well over at the store. It's it's something I'm really proud of. Josh Rosen, my good friend who's a comic book artist here in Toronto, designed the shirt. Did a great job with it. Please check out him. There are links to it at maybe not in this description, but Long Wine Real Road, and on my Twitter you can see him. I'm at WH Park 9. Karen, where are you?
You can find me on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at Hey Karen Sensei. And if you enjoy my visits here at Post Puroresu, you can find me over at postwrestling.com, where I cover Stardom, New Japan, and a couple other promotions. And currently, Dream Slam Weekly. Next year will become Dream Slam Monthly.
Hey, I mean, it's more bang for your buck, I think, if it's monthly. You know what I mean? Like you can make it even extra longer.
Yeah, I don't have to do. I don't have to do a whole lot of results. I can actually put like some other content in there.
Yeah, you can do long form essay or think piece about someone.
I'll try.
I'm
gonna be tinkering with it for probably the next couple of months.
You could do the glory of Meiko Satomura before she went to NXT UK and got lost.
Gosh, I miss her.
But yeah, hey, MCU later. We did me, John, and Wei. We did Guardians of the Galaxy review, holiday special review. I was the last episode of the Long and Winding Road for this year with Damian Abraham. We had a fun time talking about Atsushi Onita and Hector Guerrero from the 80s, so kind of out of the sandbox a little there. I was on the Working Fans Wrestling podcast where they were doing the worst of the year and they just said, we want the hate WH, and I brought the fucking hate to that show.
Oh no.
So you can enjoy that inexplicably. I know I'm just making the show longer. Inexplicably, a lot of their listeners don't like indie wrestling, which I think is really weird if you like wrestling, because that's the lifeblood of wrestling. You should like indie wrestling. If you don't, it's weird. And also, a lot of them were upset that Tyrus won the NWA championship. One, who cares? Who cares about that belt? Two, who cares about Tyrus? He's a fucking loser. Anyways,
I have no opinion on the NWA or Tyrus or any of it.
No one should. Anyways, with that being said, let's end the show. Thank you for a great 2022, Karen. Thank you for a great 2022 post wrestling. John Wei, John Cena, fucking Neil Flanagan, Mike Murray, JP Houlihan, Benno, Martin Bushby,
all the boys,
Nate Milton, my good friend, Rich Fan, Scrub. I could go on. I have so many great friends here at Post Wrestling.
Can I thank someone real quick?
Of course.
WH Park, thank you for 2022.
No,
Thank you for everything you've done for Post Puroresu.
No.
No. Thank you.
So, listen, 2023 will be. Honestly, one of my New Year's resolutions. This will be the final thing, Karen, is to try to reignite my love for wrestling. Try to watch a lot more wrestling. I'm gonna try to. Here's my thing: watch more Dragon Gate. Watch more Big Japan Strong Division. Watch more Indie Joshi. That's my goal. Like the things that
watch more GLEAT.
Watch more GLEAT. Yep. Though the recent MMA show had me a little worried about the direction of that company. But hey, you know what? Watch more GLEAT. My man El Lindemann is still the champion of that company, which is mind-boggling to me. But there you go. 2023, looking forward to it and doing more shows with Karen, with John Pollock, and a whole bunch of other people. And until then, thank you everyone listening. And until next time, goodbye.